Global evolution. I transplanted the heart of the Supreme God. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426 Combat Strength Value. Dongbo Changzi is on his way here. This is what several sworn warriors of the Dongbo family said. Blood Spider said. Bai Pu smiled and nodded. Dongbo Changzi travels around and likes to join in the fun. Such a big thing happened here. Seeing that there will be a big battle with the Red Emperor of Huan Mountain, it is reasonable for him to come. Blood Spider then added, in addition to me, there are 2 awakening teams in the Guardian camp. The leaders are all our acquaintances. Who? Bai Wang and Quang Chan. Blood Spider said. The 2 of them. Bai Pu was slightly absent-minded. He had known these 2 people since the college entrance examination and had contacted them several times until now, but each encounter was not very pleasant. Bai Pu himself did not have any opposing mentality. It was Bai Wang and Quang Chan who had their own thoughts that led to the conflict between the 2 sides. The reason was that the 2 came from famous families and looked down on Bai Pu, who came from a grassroots background. Especially Bai Wang, he was always resentful that Bai Pu could suppress him. I don't know what the result will be this time. Logically, after 2 spiritual world confrontations and the display of strength in the college competition, Bai Wang and Quang Chan should have accepted reality. But people's hearts are unpredictable. Bai Pu doesn't know whether Bai Wang will continue to be stubborn, and whether Quang Chan will stab again because of some hidden interests. What about the demon camp on the opposite side? Bai Pu asked. I have fought with the teams in the demon camp. Most of them are from the Superstar Alliance. The leader is codenamed Bomb, a level 6 hero. Blood Spider said. Bomb. Bai Pu perked up. I have seen this person in the database of the Secret Service. Is he also a wanted criminal like Yinch? More than that. This Bomb is more powerful than Yinch. Yinch has always wanted to join the Hixing Tower, but he never entered until his death. Bomb is a formal member of this Hixing Tower. Bai Pu said. Bomb is also a Class A wanted criminal. The reason why Yinch is Class A is because Yinch and his team have killed a high-level awakener together, and they are very fierce. Bomb was a one-on-one fighter, and had defeated a high-level awakener from the Secret Service. It was just that Bomb was more cautious in his attack and did not dare to kill anyone from the Secret Service. In terms of sin value, Bomb was not as good as Hidden Snake, but in terms of strength, Bomb was firmly above Hidden Snake. Since the opponent is the Superstar Alliance, we must be careful. The Superstar Alliance has a deep presence in the Heart Demon world, and both camps have pawns, which benefit each other. Be careful of the backstab from our awakeners. Bai Pu thought silently. Blood Spider summoned Bai Pu over, and it was she who triggered the S-level main quest. Main quest Step 2, Stop the Red Emperor. Quest Objective, prevent the Red Emperor from obtaining the flesh shell of the Flame Blade Princess within 10 days. Mission Difficulty, S Mission Deadline. 10 days, 8 days, 14 hours, and 52 minutes remaining. Mission Reward, Unknown Failure Penalty, deduct 20,000 energy points. Flame Blade Princess is in the Demon City, right? Bai Pu said with a smile. If we only consider the task completion, directly killing Flame Blade Princess is the easiest and most labor-saving approach. Although this will lead to the pursuit of the strong men of the Guardian camp, destruction is always easier than protection. No. Blood Spider rejected Bai Pu for the first time. Flame Blade Princess. She is a very nice person. I can't do it. That's just what I said. Bai Pu smiled and shook his head. My goal is to get legendary points. The main quest doesn't mean much to me. As long as I turn the world of the inner demon upside down, that's enough. Let's go to the Demon City. Looking at the murderous Bai Pu, Blood Spider was a little worried. Was it the right choice to pull Bai Pu over? As the frontline stronghold of the Great Wilderness River against a flame mountain, the Demon City was more like a war fortress. The city walls, watchtowers, spell warnings, patrolling warriors, made the city like an iron barrel. Bai Pu showed the Zuan Wu Oath seal, and after a simple registration, he followed Zuzu into the demon-subduing city, and then went straight to the Nanzhu Fink Xingliu branch dojo to meet the Flame Sword Princess. Lady Flame Sword Princess is practicing and does not see outsiders, said the Fink Xingliu disciple who was blocking the door. Zuzu was stunned. Just 3 or 4 hours ago, I made an appointment with Lady Flame Sword Princess to bring a very powerful partner to see her, and Lady Flame Sword Princess agreed. Lady Flame Sword Princess did order that. The Fixingliu disciple also felt strange and said, "Wait a moment, I'll go ask for instructions." If it was an ordinary male warrior, this Fixingliu disciple would not pass on the message at all. But Zuzu is a rare female warrior. In the male-dominated world of the Heart Demon, she is highly valued by the Flame Sword Princess. This is also the reason why Zuzu was able to trigger the second main quest. She always only did the first main quest, and then found a place to spawn monsters after completing the quest, and left when the time was up. Not long after, the disciple of the Burning Heart School came back and said, "Lady Flameblade Princess said that since it is an appointment, come in." Bai Pu and Zuzu thanked her, entered the quiet room, and finally met Flameblade Princess. The daughter of the Nanzhu Burning Heart School was wearing a red swordsman robe, her black hair fell like a waterfall, and her eyes were extremely beautiful, as if she contained stars. The corners of her mouth were slightly pursed, her face temperament was very cold, and she seemed a little arrogant. Bai Pu silently thought in his heart, and the passive skill, strong enemy sensing, of Immortal King's Ironhorn Helmet, showed the combat power value of Flameblade Princess. Flameblade Princess, combat power 240 points. 240 points? It's a bit weaker than me. I don't know what level it is. Bai Pu's own combat power is 361 points. According to his speculation, the combat power of Ironhorn Helmet should only look at the overall attributes. Bai Pu himself has been nourished by many kinds of spiritual treasures such as Dragon Tiger Pill, College Entrance Examination Reward, Spiritual Energy Infusion, Life Strengthening Essence, etc., plus a set of high-end equipment and suit bonuses. The overall attributes are not worse than those of a level 6 lord. Therefore, Bai Pu can't compare his own combat power with that of Flameblade Princess, so he can only compare it with Blood Spider. The conclusion is that the overall attributes of Flameblade Princess and Blood Spider are similar. This shows that Flameblade Princess should be the template of a level 6 leader. Bai Pu used the ability of Strong Enemy Sense for the first time, and found that this ability is far less detailed than the 9 chapters detection ability attached to Kanzei's turban. However, facing opponents who have cultivated the secrets and have professional energy flowing on their bodies at all times, 9 chapters has insufficient priority and cannot detect, and has fallen behind the trend. Moreover, the detection ability of 9 chapters will be detected by experts, which will make them alert, which is also a negative effect. On the other hand, strong enemy sensing can sense the opponent's combat power value without alerting the opponent. Even a master like Blood Spider who has cultivated the secret can sense it, which is amazing. Chapter 427, Mirage. While Bai Pu was looking at the battle power value and estimating the strength of Flameblade Princess, Blood Spider had already started a conversation with Flameblade Princess. Blood Spider was not good at speaking, and introduced Bai Pu dryly. "My partner is a sworn warrior from Zhuangwu Mountain, and is a good friend of Lord Dongbo Changzi." Flameblade Princess glanced at Bai Pu, and probably because of the phrase Dongbo Changzi's good friend, she waved her hand and said, "I know, you can go down." Blood Spider asked curiously, "Lord Flameblade Princess, didn't you say that when I invited my partner, you had to have a good fight with him and feel the swordsmanship style of Beiming Zhuanjing School?" "Of course I remember, but I'm a little tired now and want to rest," Flameblade Princess said coldly. Blood Spider felt a little embarrassed and wanted to pull Bai Pu away. Bai Pu waved his hand to stop her action, staring at Yan Daoji and said, "You are indeed a weak woman. You should go home to do housework and have children. Why do you come to the battlefield where demons are rampant?" Yan Daoji raised her eyebrows and said angrily, "How dare you speak rudely to me, get out." Zuzu also felt that Bai Pu was a little too much, and quickly interrupted, "Lady Yan Daoji, my companion didn't mean that. That's what I meant. I have traveled all over the Heart Demon continent, and the powerful warriors I met were almost all men. I thought that the daughter of the leader of the Nanzhu Fengxin school would be different, but today I see that it's just like that. It seems that the Zhu family, which is known as one of the 4 great oaths, is nothing special." Yan Daoji slammed the table, "Come on. Drive these 2 people away, I don't want to see them." 2 disciples of the Fengxin school responded and entered. "I humiliated you, and you don't even have the courage to draw your sword." Bai Pu narrowed his eyes and suddenly pointed out. The powerful blood river fighting spirit gathered and stabbed the Tiandaoji's eyebrows. How dare you? Stop. Two disciples of the Burning Heart School rushed forward at the same time. However, Blood Spider waved her sword to block them. Although Blood Spider did not know the intention of Bai Pu's abnormal behavior, her instinctive reaction was to cooperate with Bai Pu at the first time. Although she received a reminder that her reputation in the Guardian camp had plummeted, she did not change her mind. Flame Blade Princess retreated rapidly, but Bai Pu, with her strong observation ability, had already discovered her movement trend and launched the gang step in advance, with blood flashing, following like a shadow. Flame Blade Princess's eyebrows were pierced, and her body fluctuated like the surface of water. The next second, she turned into a slender monster with a body like flowing mercury. The face of this monster was like a flat plate, without any facial features. It looked weird and terrifying. Phantom. It's the Demon General Phantom. The two disciples of the Burning Heart School were stunned at first, and then screamed in panic. The Demon General Phantom, the demon commander under the Red Emperor, is good at transformation and can turn into anyone he touches. Huan Shen took a step back, and a buzzing sound seemed to vibrate from his abdomen. Who are you, and why can you see through my illusion? Your illusion is indeed powerful, and it can be mistaken for the real thing. However, from the information I have learned, Flame Knife Princess is a very proud woman, and she is most sensitive about her identity as a woman. When I said something like weak woman, if the real Flame Knife Princess heard it, she would probably draw her sword and ask to duel with me. Bai Pu paused, and continued, you can actually endure it, so my next step is to bring the entire Nanzhu Fengxin school to humiliate you. But you still didn't challenge me to a duel. Combined with my understanding of the intelligence about the major demon generals under the command of the Red Emperor, it's not surprising that I suspect you are the Demon General Huan Shen. This is the first time you and Flame Knife Princess have met. How dare you take action based on this suspicion? Although there was no expression on the flat face of the Demon General Huan Shen, there was a hint of disbelief in his voice. There are other reasons, so there is no need to explain them to you. I just want to ask, where's the real Flame Blade Princess? Bai Pu stepped on the ground with one foot, and the Blood River territory suddenly expanded, covering the Demon General Huan Mirage. Then a sawtooth sword with a slightly red glow appeared in Bai Pu's palm. You can't find her. She is the flesh shell designated by my lord, and has been sent to the Red Flame Palace of the Flame Mountain. The Demon General Huan Mirage laughed. Swish, the figure of the Blood Spider suddenly appeared beside the Demon General Huan Mirage. The two blades crossed, and the cross slash was made in anger. The Demon General Huan Mirage held up a shield with mercury light, blocking the first attack of the Blood Spider, and at the same time transformed into several clones to surround the Blood Spider. Originally, this was a very powerful illusion method, turning the virtual into the real. Even if you can't beat it, you can run away separately, and the enemy doesn't know which clone to chase. But these clones are within Bai Pu's Blood River territory, and their movement speed is greatly limited. The Blood Spiders relied on their high speed to circle the field, not afraid of the clones of Huan Shen at all, and seemed to be surrounded by all the clones of Huan Shen. Bai Pu turned his head and looked at the two disciples of the Burning Heart School. You also heard that the Flame Blade Princess is on the way to the Flame Mountain. Do you have any means to track her? No. A slightly impatient voice sounded, and then an old man with messy white hair and wearing a fire rat fur coat strode into the hall. This person was the leader of the Nanzhu Burning Heart School, Zook, who had received the notice and hurried over. Bai Pu nodded slightly. In this case, we can't kill this demon general directly. While speaking, Bai Pu had already reached out and grabbed it. One of the demon generals Huan Shen was dragged over, and a panicked voice sounded from his abdomen. Impossible, how can you see through my true body so many times? Bai Pu swung his sword and cut it off with a sword. One of the mercury arms of the demon general Huan Shen was cut off. Bai Pu stepped forward and hit the demon general Huan Shen's abdomen with the hilt of his sword. Suddenly, the mercury body of the demon general Huan Shen surged, and there were signs of disarray, which was enough to show how powerful Bai Pu's ordinary collision was. In just a few moves, Bai Pu beat the demon general Huan Shen's real body limp, and he had no power to resist. Bai Pu then forced a drop of pure blood from his fingertips and inserted it directly into Huan Shen's abdominal cavity. He thought that since Huan Shen used his abdominal cavity to make sounds, even if this place was not a vital point, it must be more important than other parts. Huan Shen let out a high-pitched scream, and the instinct of evolution surged, quickly defeating his main consciousness, and then reshaped it, deeply implanting the obedience command to Bai Pu, the evolutionary mother. Huan Shen is just an ordinary leader. He can become a demon leader, mostly relying on his ever-changing abilities. With Bai Pu's current strength, it is no problem for him to control an ordinary leader, even if it is a high-level member of the demon camp and is blessed by the world beacon. Chapter 428. I'm going to clear the place. These moves were quick and swift, and ended very quickly. Zook originally wanted to join the battle, but when his skinny hand pressed on the hilt of the sword, the battle was over. He looked up and down at Bai Pu with his puzzled eyes, and said, "Young man, who on earth are you?" The demon general Huan Mirage is ever-changing and has the ability to split itself. Although its main body is weak, it has a strong ability to escape. You were able to capture it so quickly. Bai Pu said, "I was originally a wild warrior in Zuanwu Mountain. Later, I obtained the Zuanwu Oath Seal, became friends with Dongbo Changzi, and received guidance from Lord Bei Mingjihu. Now I have traveled here." While speaking, Bai Pu showed Zook the Zuanwu Oath Seal. "So you've received instruction from Lord Bei Mingjihu. No wonder your swordsmanship is so powerful and rigorous, with a hint of the Bei Mingzhuanjing school." Zook praised Bai Pu, and then quickly asked, "Is your job a magician or a warrior? This demon general Huan Shen seems to have been controlled by you." A magician is a special profession in the heart demon world that drives monsters to fight, and can be understood as a summoner. At this time, the demon general Huan Shen had already knelt down in front of Bai Pu in silence, not even daring to retrieve his broken arm. "Well, I think I know a little bit." Bai Pu did not explain in detail, and directly ordered Huan Shen to reabsorb the mercury arm that had been cut off and fell to the ground, which had now turned into a pool of silver water. Huan Shen's body structure is very special. She is the legendary Mirage monster. She is a demon condensed from a group of Mirage gas, and took shape with the help of a warrior's flesh shell. Her attributes are only at the level of an ordinary level 6 leader, with the highest spirit, the second highest agility, and the lowest strength and endurance, but she has strong talents and instinctive skills. Illusionary body, innate skill. The body of the illusion has no conventional vital points. The only vital point is the demon core stored in the body. If the demon core is not broken, external attacks can at most reduce its health to 1 point. The illusion will absorb external demon power to repair its own body. Magic shadow transformation, instinct skill. The illusion can transform into any human she has come into contact with a completely similar appearance, temperament and mental fluctuations, with almost no difference. Bai Pu took a look and was quite satisfied with these two skills of the illusion. It is a qualified auxiliary. After the illusion reabsorbed the severed arm, the health value quickly recovered, and the mercury-shaped arm actually grew back at a speed visible to the naked eye. Although demon generals generally have the ability to regenerate broken limbs, it usually takes 10 days and a half months, which is quite a long time. Huan Shen's illusory body is indeed a natural skill. This regeneration ability is 10 blocks ahead of other demon generals. You just turn into an ordinary human. Don't turn into the Flame Blade Princess anymore. Bai Pu gave the order. Huan Shen's flat face without facial features was indeed a bit creepy. On Huan Shen's body, ripples appeared in the mercury-like liquid. Just 1 second later, it turned into a girl with bright eyes and white teeth and wearing gorgeous clothes. Zook saw Bai Pu giving orders to Huan Shen and completely believed that Bai Pu was a demon master. He hurried forward and said, "Sir, my daughter Zhu Lingayan is now kidnapped by a demon. I hope you can save her. At least ask this demon servant about the route the demon took my daughter so that the Zhu family can gather elite troops to rescue her." Zook could also sense Bai Pu's strength, which was implicitly above his own, so he did not dare to act like the head of the Suzaku Oath family, but begged softly. Bai Pu nodded in agreement, and then looked at the gorgeously dressed girl transformed by Huan Shen. "Tell me, how did the demon sneak into the demon city and kidnap Miss Flame Blade Princess?" Huan Shen told the whole story. It was the group of human warriors who admired the Red Emperor. They arranged an insider in the demon city and secretly turned off the spell warning of the western area of the demon city. Huan Yan, Ghost Crab and I sneaked in quietly in the form of humans. Huan Yan and Ghost Crab are the names of the other 2 demon leaders. When seeing Flame Blade Princess, Huan Shen turned into a trusted disciple of Nanzu Fenzin Liu and approached Flame Blade Princess. The three demon generals attacked together and Flame Blade Princess was knocked unconscious and taken away. In order to prevent Flame Blade Princess from being discovered missing, Huan Shen was arranged to stay and turned into Flame Blade Princess to fool the guard camp. Anyway, Flame Blade Princess is usually arrogant and rarely communicates with male warriors. Huan Shen thinks nothing will go wrong. She didn't expect that Blood Spider was a strong female warrior, and she was very powerful, which was very much in line with the Flame Blade Lady's heart. The two sides also agreed to bring Bai Pu to pay a visit, so that she was exposed in just a few hours. Zook looked at Huan Shen and wanted to give her a knife, but at this time Huan Shen was already a servant of the Demon Master, so he couldn't do it. Huan Shen pointed out the route of the group of demons retreating to the Flame Mountain on the map. Zook immediately gave an urgent order to let the disciples dispatch manpower. Mainline Mission 2, the progress of stopping the Red Emperor has been updated. Zook, the leader of the Nanzhu Fengxin School, recruited manpower to enter the Flame Mountain to rescue the kidnapped Flame Blade Lady. Do you respond to the call? Note, if you do not respond to the call, your reputation in the Ash Sea will be greatly reduced. The Ash Sea is the territory of the Zhu family. Like the East Wasteland Forest Sea and the Zhuangwu Mountain Plain, it is a general term for large-scale maps. Bai Pu and Blood Spider responded at the same time. Bai Pu said, "It is my duty to stop the Red Emperor. If it gets a suitable flesh shell and can freely enter and leave the human world, then everything will be over." Zook was quite excited and thanked him repeatedly. Flame Mountain, outer area. The two teams of Overlord and Quang Chan, as well as several independent awakeners, were waiting silently. They were waiting for the masters of the Nanzhu Burning Heart School to gather and then fight their way into the Flame Mountain. Without the support of the indigenous masters, they would definitely not dare to go deep into the depths alone and face so many demons. What's going on? How could Flame Blade Princess be kidnapped in the demon city? Overlord asked. That's even necessary. There must be a traitor. Quang Chan's eyes wandered around the other independent awakeners. Haha, I wonder if you, Quang Chan, betrayed the Guardian camp. Suddenly, a voice sounded, and two people fell from the cliff. Steel Heart. Overlord and Quang Chan exclaimed almost at the same time. As for the Blood Spider, it was ignored by the two. Overlord said immediately, I agree with your guess. Quang Chan, the sixth brother, has always loved to backstab. Who else could it be but him? Quang Chan roared in a muffled voice, the other side is the Superstar Alliance. My Su family has such a deep hatred for the Superstar Alliance, how could we join forces with the Superstar Alliance? The two wanted to argue, but Bai Pu coughed lightly, you two don't need to say anything more, I don't trust either of you. Now, I'm going to clear the field. Boom. The phantom of the Blood River washed over, covering all the awakened people in the Guardian camp present. Chapter 429 Let's all come together. Gangson, what do you mean? Are you going to challenge all the awakened ones in the Guardian camp? Questions came one after another. Bai Pu activated a volcanic appearance, raised his right hand, and spread his 5 fingers. I'll count down to 5. During this time, you can give up the mission, pay the fine to the will of the spirit world and leave. After the time, when I start to act, you can't leave even if you want to. 5. Are you sick? 4. Too crazy. Gangson, you may not be able to take down so many of us alone. 3. Everyone, come together, no matter what, you can't be a coward. The one who spoke was Quang Chan. As a level 5 hero profession, he naturally filled the others with confidence as soon as he opened his mouth. Before Bai Pu finished counting down, the awakened ones present suddenly jumped up at the same time. Several individual awakened ones rushed towards Bai Pu at the same time, with various skills and various attacks. Of course, their speed was suppressed by the Blood River territory and was much slower than usual. However, the Overlord and Quang Chan looked at each other, one east and one west, and ran out at the same time. Gangson, no matter how powerful you are, the indigenous masters will be here soon. If you attack our friendly forces, the indigenous people will definitely think you are a traitor, said Quang Chan. Quang Chan is right, just delay time. Bawang felt humiliated, but it was also a helpless move. However, when the two teams of Bawang and Quang Chan, a total of 6 people, were running away, Bai Pu's palm suddenly shot out 5 blood lassos. The phantom of a mountain collapse flashed before his eyes. 5 people were suppressed at the same time, and then they were dragged back like clouds and mist, and all fell in front of Bai Pu. Boom! Bai Pu simply punched the 5 people. Secret skill, the fist transformed from the appearance of the volcano blasted out. The 5 people were in the core area and had to bear real damage that ignored defense. Moreover, this damage could not be absorbed by the shield would be directly destroyed. The 5 people couldn't open their eyes, and the threat of death rose in their hearts. They used their tools almost at the same time, and all of them turned into white light and disappeared on the spot. They couldn't hide, couldn't stop, couldn't escape. There was no other way except to use the forced escape tool. There were 6 people in the 2 teams, and the only one who was not dragged back was Overlord. He ran away quickly, and as he saw that he had escaped from Bai Pu's Blood River territory, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It was an S-level main task. With the addition of Steel Heart, the completion rate would definitely increase significantly. By then, not to mention the rewards, how much experience points would he have? So as long as there was a little possibility, Overlord would not give up. Gold Heart, this pervert, has become stronger again in 3 months. The lasso attack can actually be divided into 5, and each one can hit accurately. What kind of brain does this guy have? A supercomputer. Overlord felt frustrated. He clenched the black and red halberd in his hand and said silently, "It's okay, it's okay. As long as I can get the guidance of that existence, I will definitely understand the secret." Catching up with Steelheart is definitely not a fantasy. However, Overlord's footsteps suddenly stopped. In front of him, a tall and hot figure appeared at some point. Blood Spider stood in front of him. "Get out of the way." Overlord had a psychological advantage over Blood Spider. When Blood Spider was only strengthening to the elite, he was already a hero. In the college entrance examination, his score was also much higher than Blood Spider's. "Blood Spider, do you really think you can beat me by relying on Steelheart's thigh?" Overlord's halberd suddenly raised. "You are not my opponent, don't hurt others and benefit yourself. Otherwise, I will drive you out of the world of inner demons first." Blood Spider didn't respond at all. A dragon hunting mark was shot out, and 3 shots were fired in a row. In front of Bai Pu, several scattered awakened people were lying on the ground with pale faces. Everyone had blood oozing from the corners of their mouths and internal organs were injured. Bai Pu didn't want to kill anyone. He didn't even use the chainsaw sword. He just used the simplest fighting moves and knocked down several scattered awakened people with 3 punches and 2 kicks. The powerful force that can rival that of a power lord, combined with the Bai Pu's professional passive ability of Tyrant Blow, even ordinary punches and kicks are as hard to resist as a big axe and a heavy hammer for these scattered awakeners. "Can you let me finish counting now?" Bai Pu asked gently. Several scattered awakeners all smiled bitterly. They had seen Bai Pu's games on TV broadcasts, but watching was one thing, and when they faced Bai Pu directly, they really felt the terrible pressure. There was no power to resist at all. Even if they used the trump card of the props at the bottom of the box at all costs, it would probably not cause any trouble to Bai Pu. As expected of the college champion, we admit defeat. Thank you for not killing me. Without waiting for Bai Pu to finish counting, several scattered awakeners gave up the main task at the same time and paid a fine of 20,000 spiritual energy points. While the natives had not arrived and were not being observed by the natives, several people chose to return. Looking at the disappearing shadows of several people, Bai Pu shook his head slightly. These people are not wanted criminals, so there is no point for Bai Pu to kill them. It is just possible that some junk treasure chests will drop, but he has to pay the price of red name, blood value, which Bai Pu thinks is not worth it. Of course, if these people really think that Bai Pu dare not kill people and continue to wait for the natives to appear, Bai Pu will also take action, and will not tolerate them. A minute later, the figure of Blood Spider appeared. She gently shook the blood beads on the 2 swords. "Where is the Overlord?" Bai Pu asked. "Solved." Blood Spider smiled at Bai Pu. "Thank you for leaving him to me to deal with." Bai Pu wanted to choose 5 of the 6 enemies to pull over, so why did the Overlord get away? It's not that the Overlord is faster, but Bai Pu did it on purpose. After Blood Spider knew that Bai Pu had a plan to clear the field, she asked if she could fight with the Overlord. Bai Pu agreed of course. This game fully verified the great progress of Blood Spider. You know, the Overlord is by no means standing still. During the college entrance examination, the 2 were actually not much different in strength, But the fact that Overlord finally got the second place must have made Zuzu feel a little dissatisfied. The reason why Bai Pu cleared the field was because there was a traitor among the awakened people in the guarding camp. It is possible that among those individual awakened people, there are non-staff members of the Superstar Alliance, the kind whose names cannot be found. Now it is difficult to do the S-level main task. If there is a traitor around who keeps secretly reporting to the opponent, it will be even more difficult for Bai Pu to beat. Bai Pu also has no time and energy to distinguish who is the traitor, so he simply clears them all out. With his current strength, he is enough to run rampant in the intermediate spirit world, so he simply drives away the so-called friendly awakened people first, so as not to share energy and guard against a backstab of this group of people. Chapter 430 Rescue. Soon, Zook and the indigenous warriors gathered together. Most of these warriors were from the Suzaku Pledge, accounting for 70%. Warriors from the Azure Dragon Pledge accounted for 20%. 4 and 8 from other pledges, such as Bai Pu, were very few. Zook looked around the field and sighed. When they heard that we were going to the demon's lair in Huan Mountain, many people were afraid. The number of people gathered now is at least 10 less than I expected. Bai Pu smiled and said, fewer people is not necessarily a bad thing. If we are not united, more people will not be of any benefit. That's true. Zook didn't care about the whereabouts of Ba Wang, Quang Chen and others, and said, Mr. Gangson, the enemy has kidnapped my daughter for at least an hour. I suggest that we send those fast disciples of the dojo as the vanguard to intercept the demons in front, and the slower backbone troops will follow up to support them. How about that? This is the effect of strength. At this time, Bai Pu's favorability with Zook is not even respect. The reason why Zook discussed it with Bai Pu was because Bai Pu showed a stronger fighting power than him. This was the strongest external aid to rescue his daughter, so he was very polite. Bai Pu nodded in agreement. This is indeed a good idea. Huan Mountain, the whole is dead black. Occasionally, cracks would appear on the ground, from which rose hot mist. From above the cracks, one could vaguely see the air current twisting. A group of demons were marching on the black wasteland. The one walking in the front was a sturdy demon covered with the green scales. Its eyes were bulging, as frightening as the pupils of a frog or fish. This sturdy demon with the green scales was one of the demon leaders under the command of the Red Emperor, Ring Eye. He was also carrying a large black ring knife in his hand. At the end of the team, the demon responsible for the rear was covered in heavy armor and had 6 arthropod-like tentacles. The upper body of the human form was also covered with natural carapaces. The veins of the deformed giant arms were bulging, and the black sledgehammer in his hand was quite ferocious in shape and heavy in weight. This demon with 6 tentacles was also a demon leader named Ghost Crab. In the middle of the demon team, 2 demons were carrying a tall beauty who was tied up tightly. The rough demon leather ropes were cleverly wrapped around the beauty's shoulders and abdomen, and stretched upwards, highlighting the towering fat ball area. The tall beauty was dressed in red, and her eyes were almost spitting fire. I advise you to save your breath, Flameblade Princess. Resistance is useless. Next to the tall beauty, the third demon leader, Shark Tooth, licked his sharp teeth and showed an evil smile. It is your honor to become the human body of Lord Chitty. Compared with the low-level spirit world of Heart Demon, Oath, the demon leaders of the middle-level spirit world have richer emotions and can even imitate human language to communicate. For example, the demon leader Shark Tooth's eyes were like a tongue with saliva, sweeping across the fat ball of Flameblade Princess and staying for a long time at her slender and strong waist. The desire contained in it was self-evident. If Flameblade Princess was not the human body of the Red Emperor, Shark Tooth would have rushed over and torn off Flameblade Princess' red dress, enjoying it to the fullest. Of course, being emotionally rich and able to speak human language does not mean that demons can live in peace with humans. In the demon's emotional system, the only constant is the deep hatred for humans. Bah! Flameblade Princess said coldly, if there was no traitor in the demon city, how could you catch me? Shark Tooth was about to retort, but his face changed slightly the next second. The demon general Huan Ian in front said in a muffled voice, the red connection of Huan Shen disappeared. I felt it too. The demon general Ghost Crab behind him said, could this guy be killed by humans? Demon General Shark Tooth said, it should be. Huan Shen is too useless. There is no way, after all, she is the weakest among us. The only thing worth noting is that Huan Shen didn't escape. It is probably because the old guy Zook, the Fengon, took action personally. Huan Shen bought us an hour and a half, which is not bad. Now we are still halfway to the Red Flame Palace. Even if Zook brings people to chase, he can't catch up. The hope in the eyes of Yan Daoji gradually dimmed. She has been in a coma and just woke up. It turns out that she has been abducted to the depths of the Flame Mountain. Even my father may not be able to save me. Can I commit suicide? Even if I die, I don't want to become the body of the Red Emperor. Damn it, if I had listened to Blood Spider and been more vigilant, I wouldn't have fallen to this point. Just as I was thinking about it, suddenly a duodo sound of breaking through the air was heard, accompanied by the painful roar of the demons, and the roar of the demon General Sharktooth. Wolf Demon, you four protect the human body of Lord Chitty. Everyone else, kill these stupid human warriors. Flameblade Princess Zulingayan found herself thrown to the ground with a plop, and the four demons formed a formation back to back, protecting her in the center of the field. She tried her best to stick her head out and looked through the gap between the legs of the leader-level wolf demon. One by one, the warriors of the Suzaku Oath fought to the death. Among them was Flameblade Princess's female friend, Blood Spider. She half-crouched and shot crossbow arrows one by one to provide support to the Oath warriors in the field. Most of the people who came here are disciples who are good at speed in the dojo. It seems that they are the vanguard troops. Father should be bringing other people who are slower to come to support. A glimmer of hope rose in the heart of Flameblade Princess, and of course there was also shame and guilt. These warriors who are good at speed all adopted the strategy of fighting in a mobile way, constantly harassing the demons. But in the face of powerful strength, this little cleverness is of little significance. After all, the demons have 3 commanders, all of whom are strong men at the level of enhanced leaders. The black sword of the demon General Huanayan slashed diagonally, and it actually generated a strong suction force, as if it had sucked out all the air around it. In front of the blade, a sworn warrior couldn't struggle at all, and was sucked over and killed with a single blow. The demon General Ghost Crab, with 6 tentacles, walked like the wind, and wherever the sledgehammer passed, there was minced meat everywhere. The demon General Sharktooth opened his mouth and actually sprayed out a sawtooth air force, which fell on the human warrior, and bit him in the air without being able to resist, and several blood fountains burst out of his body. Fortunately, there were crossbows shot by the Blood Spider. The long-range attack itself is not very powerful, but the Blood Spider can attach the mystery of space to the arrow, directly send the arrow into the target's body, and then the specially prepared explosive crossbow will explode inside the opponent's body. This is equivalent to ignoring most of the opponent's defense. Chapter 431, Explosive Killing Group. Blood Spider's current strength was not enough to support her wantonly firing space secret crossbow arrows, and the explosive crossbow arrows were also very precious, requiring a senior secondary profession that was good at engineering to modify them. She could only fire them at intervals. For example, among 4 or 5 crossbow arrows, there was a space secret explosive crossbow arrow. However, the power of the space secret explosive crossbow arrow made a group of demons panic. None of them knew whether the next crossbow arrow fired would be an ordinary crossbow arrow, or a powerful and terrifying crossbow arrow that could explode inside their bodies. Even Sharktooth, one of the 3 great demon generals, had a bloody wound on his abdomen after being hit by a space secret explosive crossbow arrow fired by Blood Spider, and suffered more than 400 points of damage. It roared and strode towards Blood Spider. However, the Blood Spider's agility was far superior to Sharktooth's. Sharktooth couldn't catch up for a while and shouted angrily, "Ghost Crab, this human girl is in your hands." Ghost Crab is a strong man with strength, but based on the special structure of the 6 tentacles in the body, it has the innate skill of quick movement, and can run faster than the agility type enhanced leader. I can't go. Damn, these stupid human warriors, are they so desperate? The demon General Ghost Crab had just smashed a leader-level Oath warrior into a meat pie with a 12-ring hammer, but the latter dragged half of his body and stabbed the sword blade into one of its tentacles, removing it abruptly. Although for the Ghost Crab, losing a tentacles is not a serious injury, it can grow back in 10 days and a half. But now it has really affected its sprint speed, and it can no longer ignore the limitations of its own agility shortcomings and move around at high speed in the battlefield as before. Chasing the Blood Spider is naturally impossible. Send a signal. Let Bomb and the others come to support. Demon General Ghost Crab shouted. Demon General Huanayan responded and let out a long demonic roar. The rolling sound waves penetrated the clouds and spread to a very far distance. It's Demon General Huanyan's warning, calling us over. It seems that the demons who hijacked Flameblade Princess have encountered a desperate resistance from the strong men in the Guardian camp. Boss Bomb, let's go. This is a big event, and we can get a lot of benefits. Surrounded by a group of awakened people, the bald young man codenamed Bomb smiled slightly and adjusted his gorgeous and thick silver fox fur cloak. Zio-C, send a telegram to Overlord and ask him how many people have come to the Guardian camp. The most important thing is, how long will it take for Zook to arrive? The awakened CZ wearing old headphones hesitated for a moment and said, Boss Bomb, I have just sent a telegram. Overlord has not replied. This guy, could it be that he didn't notice the message? Impossible. When we equipped Overlord with a radio, I instructed that someone must always carry the radio and receive information at any time. Bomb stood up. This kid needs Chitty's guidance and needs our help, and we will not neglect him. Could it be that his identity as a traitor was leaked and he was expelled from the Guardian camp? CZ proposed a possibility. Boss Bomb, are we still going to support him? Go, of course. Our explosion killing group has been planning for so long, and it has finally come to fruition. We can't give up just because Overlord has lost contact. Bomb waved his hand. Let's go. Before he finished speaking, a figure suddenly appeared on the hill ahead. He was a tall and strong man, wearing golden armor, standing on the hill, like a fortress built on the hill. Everyone from the Superstar Alliance, it's hard to find me. The young man in golden armor smiled gently. Who are you? Bomb narrowed his eyes. He secretly used the insight skill, but what he got was insight failed due to unknown reasons. This made Bomb very cautious. There was only one possibility for this kind of insight failure, that the other party was an intermediate awakener who had comprehended the secret, and his body had professional energy automatically protecting his body. Who I am, you will know it soon. The young man in golden armor was naturally Bai Pu, and he took out the scarlet chainsaw sword. Suddenly, a blue pressure covered Bomb through the air. Steelheart used the authority of Black Iron Lieutenant to suppress your rank. Your rank is Second Lieutenant, suppression is effective. For 150 seconds, you cannot use any props related to space ability. You are Steelheart. Bomb said in surprise. He had seen Bai Pu's photo, but that was in the real world. At this time, Bai Pu was the illusory appearance of the will of the spirit world, so Baodin didn't recognize him at first. Bai Pu had already opened the Blood River territory, and blocked Baodin from a distance, and then started the Gangbu. With a loud bang, Bai Pu's body flew over at high speed. Don't underestimate me. Baodin shouted angrily, raised his hand and shot a crossbow arrow. There was a black sphere at the tip of this crossbow arrow. Boom! The black sphere exploded. Bai Pu's body was wrapped in strands of blue electric current, and his movements could not help but freeze. Baodin raised his hand at the same time, and the bloody prop, battle shackles locked Bai Pu in turn. This guy broken alone, it's the best time to kill him. Baodin's voice was cold. Let's go together, whoever can kill him, I guarantee that you will join this Hexing Tower. Hexing Tower. The awakened people around were breathing heavily. This is the core organization of the Superstar Alliance. Every member of the Star-Picking Tower will get inexhaustible cultivation resources and have great power. Who wouldn't be jealous? The awakened people of the explosion group are at least enhanced elites. They immediately bombarded Bai Pu with all kinds of powerful skills and hidden tricks. Suddenly, Bai Pu's figure was wrapped in a thick blood-colored wind and soared into the sky. There's something. It seems that I can't save skills. Bai Pu used the wind-falling blade. While being immune to control, the damage he suffered from the attack was also greatly weakened by the protective wind. With a toe in the air, a sonic boom sounded, and Bai Pu raised his sword upside down and swooped down. The bomb's eyes shrank, dispersed quickly. But Bai Pu had already covered the members of the explosion group with the Blood River territory after the deformation. Even if the opponent had the skill of sprint acceleration, they could not use it. They could only run out with the abnormal deceleration of the Blood River territory, up to 62 points. Many people were almost standing on the spot. The bomb suddenly supported his hands. A sharp flash of lightning flashed, forcibly tearing a crack in the Blood River territory. Bomb turned over and jumped, escaping. The awakened Sizzy next to Bomb also used the rocket belt's ejector, dragging a long trail of fire and smoke behind his buttocks, rushing forward dozens of meters, escaping from the landing point of Bai Pu's falling wind blade. Others did not have such good luck. Bai Pu's landing caused a violent shock. The moment the sword hit the ground, more than half of the awakened people in the explosion-killing group were shocked and floated into the air, and then sucked into the eye of the storm formed by the big sword. Boom! The volcanic shield on Bai Pu's body suddenly exploded. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432. What kind of monster have you created? The violent air currents raged and whistled, and a group of awakened people were like paper kites, torn apart by the hurricane and blown away. Some hit the cliff, some hit the dead tree, and some flew out in a parabola for hundreds of meters, rolling on the ground for more than 10 times. This explosion killed 7 or 8 people. The others were severely injured by the shock damage, lying on the ground and completely lost their combat effectiveness. Even if they were not covered by the Blood River territory, they were unable to move for a while. Of course, these awakened people participated in Bai Pu's siege, and Bai Pu would not increase the blood value by killing them. Gold Heart, don't think you are invincible. The bomb that escaped the catastrophe suddenly slammed the ground with both fists. Swish! A series of crisscrossing electric currents formed an electric net, and surrounded and strangled Bai Pu in the center. Floating Thunder Prison. Thunder Welcome. The bomb is also a genius. At the intermediate awakening stage, he comprehended the rare mystery, the mystery of thunder, and even possessed the mystery skill Floating Thunder Prison. Originally, this move was mainly used to trap the enemy. The opponent was imprisoned in the prison woven by the lightning net. If he dared to touch the lightning net, he would suffer huge damage. When the skill reached level 4, the bomb drew the ultimate special effect. It can control the direction of the lightning net of the floating mine prison, so that the lightning net will actively meet the enemy and cause huge damage. Based on the characteristics of the ultimate of thunder, it will also come with a paralysis special effect of up to 4 seconds. This special effect is called Thunder Welcome. The lightning net was firmly imprinted on Bai Pu. Behind Bai Pu, a golden bull ghost shadow roared to the sky, struggled to break free, and broke all the illusory chains wrapped around itself. And only a little green smoke rose from Bai Pu's body. After using the evil spirit skill on the armor to release the control, Bai Pu had a blank expression on his face and chased after the bomb with a big sword. Adaptive evolution. Damn, super energy hospital, what kind of monster did you create? The bomb cursed, but he could only flee. His speed was reduced by 62 points by the Blood River territory, and the speed he could exert at this moment was no more than 30 points. He couldn't outrun Bai Pu at all, so he could only run while firing special crossbow arrows. Bai Pu suddenly pulled out a dark gold shield and smashed it at the bomb. The shock wave made the bomb stagger. Starting with a gang step, Bai Pu flashed in front of the bomb. Cut it down with one sword. The rescue battlefield where the Flame Blade Princess was. The balance of victory and defeat in the battle was already balanced. Zook came with reinforcements. Dongbo Changzi, who came from afar, also joined the battle by chance. Zook, Dongbo Changzi, and Blood Spider, each of them dealt with a demon general. It was the first time that Blood Spider saw Dongbo Changzi, and she was a little curious, because Dongbo Changzi's level was the same as the demon general, both at level 6. She heard from Bai Pu that in the low-level spiritual world, the heart demon, the world of oath, Dongbo Changzi was an aboriginal strongman who broke through the shackles of the world and reached level 4. How come in the intermediate spirit world, the world of the inner demon, the great wilderness river, it failed to break through the shackles? But now is not the time to be curious. The Blood Spider still had some difficulty facing the demon general Sharktooth, who was strengthened to the leader level. Sharktooth was proficient in the mystery of teeth. He could send out the biting and sharp teeth from a distance, ignoring the parrying and blocking actions. Once he was hit, he would penetrate into the muscles and bones, and the blood fountain would shoot out. However, the agility of the Blood Spider was her strong point. She had been delaying and waiting for Bai Pu to arrive. The Blood Spider's survivability was first class among the agile hero professions. In addition to her luxurious equipment, she could activate the space-cutting mystery at any time to escape into the void, which was her strongest life-saving trump card. However, the situation of the battle had already tilted towards the human warriors. Dongbo Changzi burst out with a strong strength, and the demon weapon in his hand, the peacock feather, was completely released. Sharp peacock feathers surrounded Dongbo Changzi, forming a gorgeous and deadly colorful feather dress. As Dongbo Changzi performed the secret sword art of Wu Feng Liu, the peacock feathers shot out and gathered, and the ghost crabs in the opposite position roared continuously, and the shell powder on their bodies kept falling, adding one white mark after another. The ghost crabs completely retracted their tentacles and shrank on the ground, not daring to move. They could only swing the heavy hammer in vain to hit Dongbo Changzi, but each blow fell into the air. The ghost crab knew that if he dared to stand up, Dongbo Changzi's peacock feathers would immediately cut off the tendons at the connection between all his tentacles, making him completely unable to move and become a cripple. Zook, a strong man known as Burning Heaven, was by no means comparable to an ordinary demon general. Zook was old and did not release his demon weapon. He only used normal conditions to fight the demon general Huanayan. Each of his swords carried the illusion of raging flames, and the surrounding air seemed to be distorted by high temperature. The blazing flame field burned the scales of the demon general Huanayan all over his body. Huanayan roared repeatedly, and slashed wildly with a black sword, but he couldn't even touch the corner of Zook's clothes. You have to know that the style of Nanzhu Fink Xingliu's swordsmanship is fierce and deadly, good at attacking but not good at defending. Zook has been unscathed until now, which only shows that the gap between the two in single combat is too big. You go and rescue Lingayan, I will deal with a few demons blocking the way. Zook even had the leisure to slash out 3 flaming sword ki flying close to the ground, directly pointing at the 4 demons who hijacked Yandaoji. The secret of Nanzhu Fink Xinliu, Sanli Huazhan. While the flaming sword ki was flying close to the ground, it seemed to be absorbing the free energy in the surrounding air and continued to grow. 3 of the demons, after being hit by Sanli Huazhan, were wrapped in flames and roared. Several Nanzhu Fink Xinliu disciples rushed up. Looking at this situation, it seems that Steelheart doesn't need to take action. Blood Spider felt a little regretful. This fierce battle between several enhanced leaders, dozens of leaders and a large number of elites, was almost equivalent to the world event of Heart Demon, Dao Hongchuan. A strong man like Bai Pu could get a lot of benefits. However, just when those Burning Heart School disciples rushed over, they were blocked by a leader-level wolf demon. The next second, a rumbling sound seemed to sound from the sky. Who dares to touch my body? A blazing pillar of fire fell from the sky, like a waterfall, and quickly spread and rose on the ground. Those Nanzhu Burning Heart School disciples howled and were engulfed by the blazing pillar of fire, turning into charred bones. Look at the sky. Lord Chidi is here. The surviving demons shouted excitedly. On the other hand, the warriors of the guarding camp were like falling into an ice cellar. The battle stopped for a moment. Above the sky, 4 demon firebirds pulled a red chariot. A figure wrapped in red flame slowly stood up. The emperor of the inner demon world, the ruler of the great wilderness river Flame Mountain, the Lord-level strong man, the Red Emperor, has arrived. Chapter 433, The Demonic Body of the Red Emperor. The red chariot landed. The red light surrounding the Red Emperor slowly dispersed. This was a demonic shadow with blazing flames all over its body. It had almost no entity. Only a black humanoid shadow could be vaguely seen in the rolling flames. After the Red Emperor appeared, the warriors of the guard camp, including the Blood Spider, all had the illusion that a disaster was about to happen. The slightly blurred face of the Red Emperor swept towards the Flame Blade Princess. The air around the flames vibrated, and the void spoke. Yes, it is indeed a flesh shell suitable for me. You are indeed my capable subordinates. When I merge into the flesh shell and completely condense the demon body, I will take you to flatten the entire Heart Demon continent. Several demon generals saluted at the same time. The Red Emperor's demonic shadow rushed towards the Flame Blade Princess. It couldn't wait to occupy this flesh shell. 3 Lai Huazan. Zook shouted angrily, and 3 blazing sword energies moved close to the ground, biting at the back of the Red Emperor like a spirit snake. The remnants of the Burning Heart School. The Red Emperor snorted, stretched out a vague claw, and grabbed from a distance. The 3 sword keys' flaming shadows were extinguished by the grab. The Red Emperor punched out in the air, and a flaming fist print bombarded from a distance. Zook changed his position continuously, but he couldn't escape a lock of this flaming fist print. His face suddenly changed, and he suddenly gathered strength and raised his sword, and the blade wrapped in flaming shadows chopped out horizontally. With a loud bang, Zook suddenly fell into stiffness. This flaming fist print not only annihilated his slash, but also knocked him out with a remaining force, and his eyes went black. The demon general Huanayan, who was facing Zook, laughed strangely, and the black sword suddenly chopped, turning into dozens of black sword nets. At the critical moment, it was Dongbo Changzi who took action, and the countless gorgeous sword blades transformed by the peacock feather whistled out. The sound of clanging and clashing continued. Huanayan's black blade net was broken, and the whole person was attacked by countless peacock feather blades and flew backwards. Dongbo Changzi repelled Huanayan and temporarily protected Zook. Then he pulled his fingers suddenly, and the peacock feather blades turned into a horizontal waterfall and flew towards Chitty. You have some strength, but it's a pity that it's not good enough. Chitty raised his hands and expanded them like an accordion. A spherical shock wave exploded, and countless peacock feathers lost their power and flew backwards in a mess. Chitty raised his hand in a little, and Dongbo Changzi's feet exploded as if explosives were buried. Sand and rocks flew, and dust filled the sky. Fortunately, Dongbo Changzi was smart and used the footwork of the Wu Fengliu's secret sword technique in advance, like a dead leaf blown up by the wind, dancing with the wind, eliminating the impact of the explosion. The Red Emperor leisurely pointed his finger at the air, and each finger caused the air to explode, and Dongbo Changzi's figure was blown away step by step. With an unstable footing, Dongbo Changzi was naturally unable to command the peacock feather. This demonic weapon made a mournful cry and turned back into an ordinary long sword, falling into Dongbo Changzi's palm. While the Red Emperor was forcing Dongbo Changzi to retreat, he could still move. He floated up and flew towards the Flame Blade Princess. However, at this moment, the space fluctuated, and a white little hand suddenly stretched out from the void and pulled the Flame Blade Princess into the void. Blood Spider took advantage of everyone's inattention and activated the space-cutting secret, quietly escaped into the void, and rescued the Flame Blade Princess. Bold. The Red Emperor shouted angrily and punched. Crack, as if the space was shaking, ripples emerged in the void, and Blood Spider and Flame Blade Princess stumbled out of it. Blood Spider couldn't believe it. The secret of space cutting and the means of escaping into the void, even the high-level Lord Gilded cannot do anything about it, and now it has been broken by the Red Emperor? But in the vague perception of Blood Spider, the Red Emperor's strength is not as good as that of the Gilded One, and should be the level of a level 6 Lord. That's why she dared to take the risk to save Flame Blade Princess. The Red Emperor would not explain anything to her. His two claws suddenly grabbed the necks of Blood Spider and Flame Blade Princess respectively. However, in the next second, the Red Emperor's eyes went black, as if a phantom like a mountain suppressed his mind. His attacking movements could not help but pause. The Blood Spider and Flame Blade Princess were wrapped around their waists by blood-colored thin lines, and their figures flew out like clouds in mist. They flew more than 50 meters away and landed under a tall and upright figure in golden armor. The Blood Spider fell into the arms of the golden-armored figure. The Flame Blade Princess was carried by inertia and rolled on the ground for several circles. Steel Heart. Dongbo Changzi, Zook and others all exclaimed. However, Zook shouted in surprise, while Dongbo Changzi was more surprised. He didn't expect to meet his old friend here. The young man in golden armor was Bai Pu. After he solved the unstable factor of the Superstar Alliance's explosive killing group, he rushed over without stopping. Blood Spider was held in Bai Pu's princess hug. When she looked up, she could just see Bai Pu's handsome jawline. Her cheeks were flushed, her heart was pounding, and she was intoxicated. Bai Pu put Blood Spider down. Blood Spider felt a little lost, but she was still rational. She quickly ran over to help Flame Blade Princess up and swung her knife to cut a magic leather rope on her body. Human who doesn't know how to live or die, my patience has run out. The demon shadow of the Red Emperor trembled and gradually solidified into a solid body. It gathered all the flames and shadows on its surface, actually the fluctuations of its demon power, into its body, showing a complete demon body. Overall, the Red Emperor looked like a human corpse that was burned alive by a fire. The whole body was charred, the membrane was completely burned, and the black and red muscle layer was exposed. But it was not as shriveled as a charred corpse. The torso was round and solid, as if it contained infinite power. The Red Emperor's eyes were two groups of burning red flames, and the flames were slightly jumping as it spoke. In Bai Pu's vision, the Red Emperor's body surface was slightly glowing red. This meant that the Red Emperor was stronger than Bai Pu, which was a sign of danger. The specific combat power value was displayed as 360 points. This number is a bit scary. In horizontal comparison, The Blood Ring Emperor Gustav, with a blessing of his own domain skills, has a total attribute of only 350 plus. The Gilded One, as a level 7 lord, has a total attribute of about 400 points. From the attribute point of view, the Red Emperor should be a level 6 lord. Of course, the attribute is only one aspect. The real strength depends on the skill strength and the power of the secret. In the world of the inner demon, the Red Emperor, who is proficient in the secret, is definitely stronger than Gustav. Bai Pu looked at the Red Emperor who had revealed his demonic body, but he had no fear in his heart. Instead, he was eager to fight. Although the Red Emperor was strong, Bai Pu was far from facing Gustav in the Battle of Linköping. The evidence was that Bai Pu's total attribute was even 1 point higher than that of the Red Emperor. His combat expertise and skill level were also greatly improved, and he even possessed 2 powerful mysteries. Come on. Bai Pu took a deep breath, faced the amazing pressure of the Red Emperor, and strode forward. Chapter 434, Steel Heart, let's fight the Red Emperor together. Human, you are very brave. As a reward, I will burn your soul inch by inch with raging fire. Shark Tooth, you guys come at me. Chitty said harsh words, but he was very cautious. He could also sense the aura and knew that Bai Pu was not on the same level as Dongbo Changzi, Zook and others. So he first ordered the demon generals under his command to attack. Shark Tooth was named and had to bite the enemy. He opened his mouth wide and sent a bite through the air, and a white tooth-shaped energy flew out. Bai Pu's left hand wiped his waist, and the dark gold tower shield appeared, blocking the attack. Then, in Shark Tooth's expectant eyes, Bai Pu's figure did not even shake. There was not even an obvious scratch on the dark gold tower shield. Shark Tooth could only attack himself and pounce on Bai Pu. What greeted it was the wide shield of the dark gold tower shield, and a plain horizontal slap. Boom. Just like slapping a fly, Shark Tooth's body flew backwards, and several broken teeth and blood spurted out of its mouth. This is not a skill-like shield attack, but a normal attack action. The reason for such an amazing effect is of course because Bai Pu's strength is too high and the professional passive of Tyrant Blast is too fierce. Another demon general ghost crab that rushed over was cut off one of its tentacles by Bai Pu's spinning knife. It's amazing. Dongbo Changzi murmured. He still remembered the days when Steelheart and he fled in the Black Swamp. At that time, Steelheart couldn't even deal with one demon general, but now he easily injured 2 demon generals. Seeing that Steelheart still has some strength left, I'm afraid his strength is already above his own. Dongbo Changzi's mood is quite complicated. On the one hand, he is happy for his friend's rapid progress in strength, and on the other hand, he can't help feeling disappointed. But no matter what, when the Red Emperor came and there were dangers everywhere, the strong strength shown by his friend Steelheart still made Dongbo Changzi feel relieved. Gangson, let's deal with Chitty together. Dongbo Changzi said loudly. Bai Pu paused and waved his hand quickly. Dongbo, you help everyone get rid of the demon generals first, and let me deal with Chitty alone. I will use it to verify the mysteries I have comprehended. Dongbo Changzi nodded suddenly. The warriors in the world of inner demons learn the mysteries of sword skills passed down by their ancestors and seek breakthroughs in strength in the process of fighting against powerful enemies. What surprised Dongbo Changzi was that his friend Gangson was so confident that he wanted to fight Chitty alone. Observe first, and if Gangson is defeated, then help him. Dongbo Changzi thought to himself. On the other side, Chitty's fist had hardened. What an arrogant human. Chitty roared, stepped forward and punched, and a flaming fist print rushed straight to Bai Pu. Bai Pu raised his shield to block. With a clang, a shallow dent appeared on the surface of the shield, and at the same time, the power of fire passed through the shield and directly wrapped around half of Bai Pu's arm to burn. From this attack alone, we can see how difficult the Red Emperor is. It is a mixed damage type. Not only is the punch powerful, but the flame power is also very pure, ignoring the shield's defense. Fortunately, Bai Pu's defense is high enough, especially the suit is reinforced with lava pyroxene, which increases the flame resistance by 120 points. At this time, his flame resistance is as high as 243 points. What does this mean? As a level 6 lord, the flame damage caused by the Red Emperor to Bai Pu, without considering other damage reductions, the reduction of the flame resistance alone is as high as 80%. Originally, the flame power of the Red Emperor was pure and powerful, and the damage caused was exaggerated, But under Bai Pu's 243 points of flame resistance and other miscellaneous damage reductions, the remaining damage was not enough. Bai Pu's adaptive evolution switched to the fluid skeleton form for blunt physical damage. In this way, the physical damage caused by the Red Emperor was also greatly reduced, and the threat to Bai Pu was further reduced. This human is really tough. The Red Emperor muttered in his heart, a little annoyed. After it threw a punch, it didn't stop, but stepped forward and punched, hitting Bai Pu's chin from bottom to top. This punch also contained the power of fire, like a heavy hammer and axe. Bai Pu threw away the dark gold shield, held the big sword with both hands and chopped it vertically, intersecting with the fist of the Red Emperor, and it actually made a sound of metal clashing. This time, it was a pure strength contest between the two. A circle of transparent air ripples turned into air waves and exploded. The demons that were slightly close to the surroundings actually screamed and were blown away directly, hitting the rock wall of the valley on the side. Bai Pu and the Red Emperor were both shaken and took a step back. Bai Pu's strength judgment value at this time has reached 179 points. Obviously, the strength attribute of the Red Emperor cannot be so high, and it must also have a passive skill to increase the strength judgment value. The next second, the prompt of the spirit world's will came. Red Emperor's combat skill, the passive effect of the punch is triggered, and 30 points of strength judgment value, offense, are obtained. The passive effect of the Red Emperor's shock secret is triggered, and the blunt attack type attack gains a 30-point strength judgment bonus. In other words, the Red Emperor's own strength attribute is about 120 points, and the permanent passive can make the strength judgment reach 150 points. After using the shock secret, the strength judgment will be increased to 180 points. Bai Pu smiled slightly. In this case, you should also taste my mountain collapse secret. Bai Pu's figure suddenly lowered, and the Blood River territory suddenly opened. The special effect of the gang step was activated, and the whole person flew over, and the chainsaw sword chopped out with the phantom of the collapse of the mountain. The suddenly opened Blood River territory made the Red Emperor tense up and felt very uncomfortable. Bai Pu's sword slashed, and it had no time to dodge, so it could only use the passive bombing fist again to meet it. Boom! This time, the Red Emperor's fist suddenly broke, and black blood spilled from the wound. He couldn't help but retreat 3 steps. Although the mountain collapse secret did not increase the strength judgment, the power increase was real. Even the Chitty's punching key was shattered, and his body was injured. Bai Pu rushed forward, taking advantage of Chitty's unstable footing, and launched a series of attacks. After suppressing Chitty and creating a large enough flaw, the great sword pierced through Chitty's chest. The 3-divided world was launched, and Chitty was lifted up high and fell heavily. The earth seemed to tremble, and a human-shaped pit was thrown out on the ground, surrounded by spider-web-like cracks. 3 differentiated key energies penetrated the body, leaving 3 deep blood marks on Chitty's back. Throwing skills ignore defense. Even a level 6 lord must follow the rules of the spirit worlds. Once the throw is judged, the attacker's power will be infused into the opponent's whole body, making it numb and sore all over, unable to defend at all, and will take full damage. Great, so powerful, seems to be even more powerful than Lord Beaming Jihu. Dongbo Changzi was relieved, and swung his sword to attack, to help other warriors in the guard camp to eliminate the demon general. Chapter 435 Demonic Power Explodes. Bai Pu pursued the opponent, but the airflow above the Red Emperor in the pit suddenly expanded, forming a powerful spherical shock wave. Quick! Dongbo Changzi knew the power of this attack. It was the detonation caused by the powerful compression of air with the shock secret. Bai Pu was not stupid. He tapped his toes and launched the gang step, catapulting him more than 10 meters backward. Even so, the residual power of the shock wave still hit Bai Pu. Red Emperor's secret skill, Shock Bomb, caused 513 shock damage to you. This shock damage will reduce your movement speed by 50 points for 3 seconds. You passed the strength judgment, passive, and resisted the knockback effect of the shock bomb secret. Bai Pu's health value is reduced by 1/8 in an instant. If it weren't for the damage reduction of adaptive evolution, the damage of this attack would probably exceed 1,000. The Red Emperor's figure slowly floated up from the pit. It can be seen that this demon king was furious. I will tear you into pieces. Golden flames suddenly rose from the surface of the Red Emperor, as if lava was flowing on the surface. This might even reminded Bai Pu of the Gilded One in the original Sin world. Based on your rank, Black Iron Lieutenant, You have obtained detailed combat intelligence about the level 6 Lord, Red Emperor. Red Emperor's innate skill, Demonic Power Burst is activated. During the Demonic Power Burst, Red Emperor gains 60 points of Mimicry attribute bonus, and all damage caused by the Flame Demonic Power is increased by 100%, which lasts until the Demonic Power is exhausted. Mimicry attribute, a free attribute that can be switched at any time, but can only be added to one of the 4 surrounding attributes at the same time. After the Demonic Power is exhausted, Red Emperor will enter a state of decline, with all attributes reduced by 30 points, and unable to increase damage with a Flame Demonic Power attached attack. The Spirit World will can provide such detailed information, especially in the Key Lord battle. It must be that Bai Pu's rank of Black Iron Lieutenant played a role. Black Iron Lieutenant is still rare among the intermediate awakeners. If it were a high-level awakener, it would be difficult for the Spirit World to treat it differently. The Red Emperor rushed out suddenly, and his speed increased dramatically. Although Bai Pu's Blood River territory had captured the Red Emperor, the difference in priority made the Red Emperor slightly affected. The Red Emperor's own agility was already between the 6th level agility leader and the enhanced leader. Now with a bonus of Mimicry attribute, 60 points of Mimicry attribute are added to agility when sprinting, which is comparable to the agility lord. It was so fast that it almost exceeded the limit of eye capture. Bai Pu could only see a golden red shadow whizzing in. Because the speed was too fast, it even left a golden red afterimage on the retina, like the tail of a comet impact. With a bang, Bai Pu's figure was thrown high and was hit by the Red Emperor. When attacking, the Red Emperor's attack power also soared suddenly, and his fist was extremely heavy. Obviously, at the moment of the shot, the Red Emperor's 60 points of Mimicry attribute switched from agility to strength. This is 180 points of strength. Counting the additional strength judgment of the Red Emperor, the overall strength judgment value has reached a high of 240 points. Bai Pu was knocked away without any suspense. The power of the golden red flame is indeed terrifying. The suffocating high temperature makes Dongbo Changzi and others shudder. You must know that in the state of the explosion of demonic power, the power of the Red Emperor's golden red flame is 100% greater than the previous red flame. The Red Emperor hit Bai Pu in the air with an uppercut. When he moved, the Mimicry attribute switched to agility again. His figure flickered into the air like a ghost, and he appeared on the top of Bai Pu's head in the floating state. He raised his fists and smashed them down. At the moment of smashing, he completed the Mimicry attribute switch again. This time he switched to Spirit, which amplified the power of the golden red flame. Boom! As if a spring thunder exploded, Bai Pu turned into a big fireball, like a meteorite, a shooting star, falling to the ground. With a loud bang, the ground shook, and at the point where Bai Pu landed, a golden red pillar of fire burst out. The blazing fire burned fiercely. Blood Spider cried out and clenched his daggers. Dongbo Changzi and Zook were not so nervous. Zook said, "After all, the Red Emperor is a demon, and his attack method is too rough. With such an attack, at least half of the energy is volatilized. It looks powerful, but the damage it can cause is limited." Dongbo Changzi nodded. A truly efficient attack should be restrained, and it will not burst out until the power is injected into the opponent's body. But then again, the level of the Red Emperor at this time has completely surpassed us. Even if it is a rough attack that wastes energy, we will never be able to resist it. Blood Spider was slightly relieved. Zook and Dongbo Changzi evaluated from the perspective of the indigenous people, while Blood Spider thought from the perspective of an awakened person. She knew that Bai Pu's fire resistance was as high as 243 points. 80% of the power of Chitty's attack was reduced by fire resistance, so this attack seemed to be powerful, but for Bai Pu, it was just like setting off a firework. After the golden red flames dissipated, a strong hand stretched out from the charred pit and grabbed the edge of the pit. The next second, Bai Pu turned over and jumped out of the pit. He stood up again. It can be seen that although he endured a terrible golden red flame attack, only black smoke came out of Bai Pu's body surface. His skin was a little charred and cracked, but there were no signs of large-scale burns. Chitty panted slightly. Seeing this scene, the flames in his eyes were jumping slightly, and his ash-like face showed a look of surprise. "Come again." Bai Pu raised his hand and the dark gold tower shield flew into his palm. He adopted the sword and shield fighting posture. The purpose was very simple, which was to withstand the period of Chitty's demonic power explosion. Chitty was indeed very powerful and belonged to a lord with balanced attributes in all four aspects. According to Bai Pu's estimation, in addition to the 120 points of strength, the other attributes of the Red Emperor should be around 80 points. Such attributes seem mediocre, but in the stage of the demon power explosion, when the 60 points of mimicry attributes are added, the Red Emperor is almost equivalent to a superlord with 140 points of all attributes and 180 points of strength. The Red Emperor's bombardment and Red Flame combo just now were not in vain. Despite the heavy damage reduction, it still knocked down more than 1,000 points of Bai Pu's health. If there was no damage reduction ability, I'm afraid a piece of steel could be melted. At this time, Bai Pu's health was about 60%, less than 2,500 points. The Red Emperor felt the suspicious eyes of the demon subordinates around him. It was related to its dominance in the Flame Mountain. The Red Emperor suddenly roared, and his figure turned into golden red after image again, and pounced. However, this time, Bai Pu activated the dual enhancement of pure blood and gene fragments, and both chose the agility direction. His agility quietly climbed to the 90-point mark, which was comparable to the 6th level agility type enhanced leader. Chapter 436, Want to leave after pretending to be cool? At the same time, Bai Pu's melee weapon special effects, strong wind and equipment enhancement special effects, wind howl also play a role, each of which increases the attack speed by 15 points. With the speed of attack increased by the ultimate skill of Gangfeng, Bai Pu's attack speed at this time has exceeded 120 points, comparable to the 6th level agility lord without skills. In addition, the large coverage of the Dark Gold Tower shield makes it easy to defend against the boom fist attack of the Red Emperor. Bai Pu switched the adaptive evolution to Molten Body. With a shield blocking, the physical damage caused by the Red Emperor's boom fist was greatly reduced. The real threat to Bai Pu was the red flame fire power transmitted by the Red Emperor through the shield. Although Bai Pu has a high fire resistance, plus equipment damage reduction, which reduces the fire damage by about 86%, the damage caused by the Red Emperor's red flame fire power is hundreds of points per hit, and more than 1,000 points when the ultimate skill is used. The damage base is high, and it is difficult to bear the actual damage accumulated through the reduction. If Bai Pu activates Molten Body again, the damage reduction against fire damage will reach 93%. In this way, the actual fire damage sustained each time is around 10 points at least, and only a few dozen points at most, which is completely bearable. As for the physical damage caused by the Red Emperor's punch, the rebound damage formed after the shield is blocked also belongs to the category of physical damage, which will be reduced by Bai Pu's high armor percentage. Finally, there is the fixed physical damage point reduction of Bai Pu's Skin of Steel, which is by no means a decoration. Although Bai Pu seems to be passively defending at this time, it should be noted that the level 4 special effect, Skin of Thorns, of his Skin of Steel, is also constantly rebounding real damage and returning it to the Red Emperor himself. Each time an attack is sustained, 36 points of real damage are returned, which seems insignificant, but a little bit adds up. The Red Emperor soon found something wrong. His fist force, as heavy as a mountain, fell on the opponent's shield, like a mud cow entering the sea, and was silently dissipated and unloaded. His demonic flames that could burn gold and turn iron attacked Bai Pu's body through the shield, but they could only float on the surface. It seemed that Bai Pu was burnt black all over, but in fact, it was mostly smoke. Only 1/10 of the real flame damage remained. And this opponent was as unshakable as a mountain. No matter how many attacks he endured, it was like a breeze blowing over the hills, and his fatigue was invisible. And every time he hit his opponent, Chitty felt a stinging breath from his fist. After the violent attack, Chitty's fists even had traces of black and red blood flowing. This was his own blood. Chitty roared, dragged his golden and red tail, and flew into the depths of the Flame Mountain. Run away! Run away! The demons and the sworn warriors were all stunned. One of the 4 emperors of the Heart Demon world, Chitty of the Great Wilderness River Flame Mountain, a lord-level strongman who ruled countless demons, actually ran away. The key is that Chitty has been suppressing Bai Pu. The might of Xuan's attack made others dare not approach the battle group, and Bai Pu was like a candle in the wind, and could only rely on the scarred shield to support himself. In the eyes of the demons, although this human warrior is strong, it is only a matter of time before Lord Chitty's defeat. The demons are waiting for Lord Chitty to kill his opponent and sweep the whole situation. But now, Chitty has escaped. If demons have human emotions, their three views must be shattered. The reaction of the sworn warriors is exactly the opposite of that of the demons. Although Dongbo, Changzi and Zook know that Bai Pu's situation is not as dangerous as it seems with their sharp eyesight, they don't know Chidi's state and think it is a hard battle. Now that Chidi has given up so many demon subordinates and escaped, it is definitely a great victory for the Guardian camp. Next, Bai Pu will join the battle and kill several demon generals present. The demon power of Huayan Mountain is bound to shrink significantly, and the demon energy area of Huayan Mountain will also shrink synchronously, giving humans more living space. However, Chidi wanted to run away, but Bai Pu disagreed. You want to leave after pretending to be awesome? Do you think I got beaten for nothing? Demon, where are you going? Bai Pu used Gangbu arrow to shoot out, biting Chidi tightly and chasing him. Demon subordinates. Oath warrior. It seems that Steel Heart's advantage over Chidi is greater than I thought. Dongbo Changzi said with a wry smile. It is a blessing for mankind to have another peak strongman like this. Zook stroked his beard and laughed. In this case, wipe out these demon generals as soon as possible and rush to support Lord Steelheart. The three demon generals, Ring Eye, Ghost Crab, and Shark Tooth, changed their faces suddenly, and fled in different directions. Are you kidding? The boss has run away, and the three of them are staying here to die? However, these three are not the enhanced leaders of the agility system. The only Ghost Crab, whose speed is comparable to the enhanced leader of the agility system, had one of its tentacles cut off by Bai Pu. Dongbo Changzi and Blood Spider were extremely fast. After Zook activated the Burning Heart Flowing Body method, Flowing Fire Path, his speed also increased significantly. At this moment, each of the three chased a demon general and went straight into the depths of the Great Wilderness River. Bai Pu chased the Red Emperor. His movement speed was indeed not as fast as the Red Emperor, but he had the gang step. With a tap of his toes, he could fly a long distance at double the instant speed. As long as he did not use the gang step continuously in the air, a ground sprint like this would not actually consume too much Dao Qi energy. Each time it was performed, it would only consume 20 points of Blood River Dao Qi. Bai Pu did not intend to catch up with the Red Emperor directly. Instead, he followed from a distance. After the Red Emperor pulled away, Bai Pu urged the gang step to shorten the distance. Bai Pu made up his mind to wait until the Red Emperor's demon power burst state ended before dealing with this demon king. In this way, one escaped and the other chased, and soon they went deep into the heart of the Great Wilderness River. There were wandering demons along the way. Seeing the scene of the Red Emperor being chased by a human warrior, each demon was shocked. Except for some demons with poor brains who rushed to help Lord Chidi fight and were easily killed by Bai Pu, other demons shrank their necks like quails or fled for their lives. Damn human, he could have caught up with me, but he just delayed. I can't run anymore. After Chidi found something wrong, he finally stopped. With a roar, he rushed towards Bai Pu with a golden and red figure and launched a new round of crazy attacks. During the attack, the health of Bai Pu and Chidi was slowly decreasing. Bai Pu's health was eaten away by sporadic damage. Chidi's health was eaten away by the real damage rebounded by the skin of thorns. But no matter what, Chidi could not break through Bai Pu's defense. When the demon power burst was about to end, the flames in Chidi's eyes jumped greatly. He made a desperate move and suddenly grabbed the surface of Bai Pu's shield with both hands, and remained indifferent to Bai Pu's chainsaw sword. Mimic power. Under the power of the Red Emperor, Bai Pu was lifted up with his shield and thrown into the air. Chapter 437 The Source Master arrives, chat group. Bai Pu, who had always used his strength to suppress others, also experienced a feeling of being crushed by others. Under the infusion of powerful power, Bai Pu felt numb all over in the air and was completely unable to defend himself. The Red Emperor turned into a meteor fire, whistling and crashing out. Every time he hit, he used the secret of the punch to hit Bai Pu fiercely. Bang 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 bang. It was like hammering iron in the air. Every blow left a hot and fiery breath inside Bai Pu's body, and then automatically lurked in the vital parts of Bai Pu's body, the most vulnerable parts. For example, the eyes, throat, heart. This is obviously a set of powerful fighting skills. When the finishing move comes, it is the time when these hot and fiery forces burst out together. However, Bai Pu, who is on the chopping board of the furnace, had a calm face. The last counterattack. Bai Pu muttered in his heart. On his body, the four suits flash green light at the same time. In the green light, The phantoms of 3 tall and burly men who seemed to have walked out of the ancient wilderness appeared. This is the 4-piece skill of the immortal king suit, Ancestral Blessing. Summon the ancestral ghosts of the ancient barbarian tribe to bless the wearer of the equipment, reducing all damage by 50%. Bai Pu could clearly feel that there was an invisible connection between the 3 barbarian ancestral ghosts and himself. The damage caused by the Red Emperor to himself was transmitted through the invisible connection, weakening half of its power. The Red Emperor obviously also found that the opponent had become harder, but it had no way to retreat at this time. Go to hell. After the Red Emperor landed, he roared and raised his right hand high, and clenched it loudly. Above his head, Bai Pu, who was floating in the air, suddenly burst out large pieces of golden red flame energy inside his body. The whole person was wrapped in golden red flames and fell down in a mess. The Red Emperor's ultimate skill, 7 Evils Bomb Fist, final form caused you 664 points of mixed damage. The Red Emperor's flame demon power has been exhausted, and the demon power burst state has disappeared. The Red Emperor's all attributes are reduced by 30 points. Bai Pu took a deep breath and stood up. Just now, the Red Emperor made a desperate attack. The previous few 7 Evils Bomb Fists opening and follow-up moves were fine. They were all from the outside to the inside, and were greatly reduced by Bai Pu's armor and fire resistance, so the damage was slight. But the last shot, 7 Evils Bomb Fist, final style, was different. It detonated the firepower inside Bai Pu's body, forming a mixed damage of the Red Flame secret and the Bomb Fist secret. Bai Pu's armor and resistance were useless, and the equipment damage reduction did not work. Fortunately, Bai Pu activated Ancestor Blessing, and with a targeted reduction of adaptive evolution, the final damage was reduced to 664 points. The Lord's final counterattack was really different. Bai Pu coughed up a mouthful of blood foam and wiped the blood oozing from the corners of his eyes, ears and nostrils. At this time, his health value had been reduced to about 1/3, which was the most dangerous time since the second transformation. Bai Pu put away his shield, raised his big sword, and strode towards the Red Emperor. Just like at the beginning, his steps were firm and steady. The Red Emperor was no longer fierce at this time, and his body was glowing red, and his figure became illusory again. This was because his flame power was overconsumed, and he was unable to maintain a relatively solid demon body. Damn. If I get a perfect flesh shell, you must be the one who died, the Red Emperor said coldly. Unfortunately, there is no if. Bai Pu still had his fighting power at this time. He strode to the front of the Red Emperor and cut him down with one knife. At this time, the Red Emperor's agility, endurance and other attributes were reduced to about 50 points. The strongest strength attribute was only 90 points, which was at best the attribute of an ordinary leader. Even though the Lord had a high priority, it could not use its skills without the support of the flame power. As a lord, the high life value that he was proud of became the source of the Red Emperor's suffering. Bai Pu's great sword critical hit could not kill him instantly, but could only cut him to blood and blood splatter, and the demon body continued to reunite in illusion. Finally, Bai Pu consumed the Red Emperor's life value and killed him completely. After the death of the Red Emperor, his body turned into a red whirlwind, and finally gathered into a dark gold treasure chest. You killed the demon king of the great wilderness river, the Red Emperor. You changed the fate of the heart demon, the great wilderness river world and gained 1 legendary point. As time goes by, your deeds of killing the Red Emperor will spread widely, and your popularity in the heart demon, the great wilderness river world will continue to grow. There will be a series of subsequent prompts, basically about the reputation, merits and other rewards of the Guardian camp. Bai Pu ignored these prompts for the time being, and his attention was attracted by the 1 legendary point. Killing the Red Emperor, I really got 1 legendary point. Now I have 3 legendary points. Bai Pu opened the second level of the talent tree, selected the option of Source Master's Advent, and lit it up. There was a strong beating of the heart, and Bai Pu's source blood increased by 1 drop, and pure blood increased by 3 drops. At the same time, Bai Pu also felt that his heart image world, meditation world, had changed. Bai Pu closed his eyes and entered the heart image world. It was a blank, with only Bai Pu's consciousness incarnation. Gradually, shadows appeared in front of Bai Pu's consciousness incarnation. The alchemist, Qin, dressed in the elegant and luxurious costume of the Empress Dowager. Bonnie, the evolution edge with metal prosthetics and a long sword. the demon general Huan Mirage, whose whole body was shining like mercury. There were also the silly-looking pterosaurs and Elan. They were clearly Bai Pu's source blood apostles and pure-blooded servants. These shadows were all gray and motionless. When Bai Pu's consciousness tentacles touched the gray shadow of Qin, the latter suddenly trembled slightly. Then the gray shadow quickly became vivid, as if an invisible hand had completed the coloring in 1 second, as if the characters in the black and white photo had walked out of the frame. This is. Qin was a little confused. When she saw Bai Pu's figure, she quickly opened her eyes wide and smiled. Dio. Is it really you who summoned me? Well, this is my mind image space. Bai Pu said, I just collected 3 legendary points, and I have made a small breakthrough in talent. From now on, all creatures that have received my blood, whether pure blood or source blood, can communicate in this mind image space. The reason why Bai Pu communicated with Qin first was that he wanted Qin to try out the chat group function that came with the advent of the Source Master. It's amazing. I'll try to see if I can return, and how to get in after returning. Qin seemed to have obtained a new toy and began to study this new social method. Bai Pu is also conducting research. He found that he could kick out the phantoms of any pure-blood slaves such as pterosaurs and detritus. And after kicking them out, Bai Pu can add them back with just a thought. Chapter 438, Rebellion against Cheyenne Gang. It's really fun. Bai Pu kicked the phantoms of the 2 dragons and added them, and then kicked them again, becoming familiar with the permissions of the Source Master's Advent chat group. The phantoms of the slaves kicked out by Bai Pu can still communicate with Bai Pu in a one-way manner. For example, if the slave-servant relationship is regarded as a wedged friend, then this mental image space is a wedged group established by Bai Pu with a group of wedged friends. He can choose to kick people out of the group, but the wedged friend relationship, master-servant, between the kicked-out people and Bai Pu remains unchanged, and they can still chat with Bai Pu privately. Unless Bai Pu deletes the friend, that is, dissolves the master-servant relationship and takes back the source blood or pure blood in the target's body, this communication will be severed. When Bai Pu was familiar with the operation of the mental image space, he suddenly felt something in his heart and received a reminder from Qin's heart. Your source blood apostle, Qin, pseudonym, requests to enter the mental image space. Do you agree? Bai Pu chose to agree. Qin went and came back, reporting to Bai Pu, Dio, it was very convenient for me to exit, I just had to recite it in my heart. But to enter here again, I have to get permission. Well, it's getting more and more like a chat group. The difference is that the online here requires the permission of the group owner. This is also quite troublesome. Bai Pu set a new rule about the mental space. Apostles and servants do not need his permission to enter the mental space to communicate. Unless someone who was kicked out of the group by Bai Pu actively applies to join again, Bai Pu's permission is required. Qin looked around and found that the other phantoms around were all black and white, motionless, so she smiled and said, Are these the other apostles collected by Dio? No, they just got pure blood, not source blood. The real source blood apostle, currently only you. Bai Pu explained. Do you want to summon everyone to communicate? Qin showed a little eager and curious look. Although she had already explored the mystery of the world, she had not seen other people in the spiritual world. Bai Pu thought about it, and the consciousness tentacles communicated with the phantom of Mirage. Soon, the black and white shadow of Huan Shen was colored and turned into a real person's phantom. Master. Huan Shen's main body was still a human figure made of mercury, but she seemed to know the aesthetics of humans and turned into a beautiful girl. Oh, is this a human from other spiritual worlds? She looks so strange and can even transform. Qin said curiously. She is a demon from the world of inner demons. Bai Pu explained helplessly, Qin, I am communicating with Huan Shen because I have something to ask you. Don't interrupt me first. Qin smiled and saluted in an incongruous Swedish military salute. When she raised her head and chest, her chest was rippling with green waves. If this was not a mental image space, and everyone was a projection of consciousness, Bai Pu would definitely catch her and beat her up. Huan Shen was terrified. For her, the orders of Bai Pu, the master, were absolute. She couldn't imagine that there were other slaves who dared to be so disrespectful to the master. Isn't this against Tiangang? As for the humans from other spiritual worlds mentioned by Qin, Huan Shen heard about it for the first time and was full of curiosity. Helpless, he dared not ask. Bai Pu looked at Huan Shen, have you arrived at the Red Flame Palace? Already arrived, master. Huan Shen bowed his head respectfully, his voice crisp. The Red Flame Palace is the Red Emperor's lair. There should be a lot of its treasures. Bai Pu said. Yes, yes. All dedicated to the master. Bai Pu shook his head. It's useless to me, and I can't take it away. So, you classify the Red Emperor's treasures, and keep those that are good for demon cultivation. Give the items that belong to human warriors to the demon city. If the Red Emperor has any cultivation experience, give it to me. For Bai Pu, those items that have not undergone spiritual resonance and are looted cannot be used, nor can they be taken out of this world. However, these things can be exchanged for benefits with the natives. Last time in the Heart Demon world, Bai Pu looted the treasures of the demon general Gui Jack, many of which were spoils obtained by Gui Jack after killing humans. Bai Pu couldn't use them himself, so he handed them over to the quartermaster of the Guardian camp in exchange for a lot of precious metals in the spirit world. I think the treasures of the Red Emperor should be more valuable than the treasures of the demon general Gui Jack. As for the Black Emperor's true blood obtained last time, Bai Pu himself can't use it, but he happened to get the demon leader's skull, which can be fed. But the explosion rate of the demon leader's skull is very low. It is as unreliable as buying a lottery ticket to expect to get one in this exploration. Thank you, Master. Huan Shen was very excited. As the Red Emperor's lair, most of the items in the Red Flame Palace are useful to demons, such as the Red Emperor's true blood, the Red Flame Demon Jade, the Flame Demon Jade Ganoderma, etc., which are all good things that can enhance the original power of demons. She was originally just a leader template, but she relied on her ever-changing innate abilities to become a demon general. Her strength was the weakest among the demon generals. Now that she has so many good things, Huan Shen can try to advance to the enhanced leader. Master, the Red Emperor usually practices in the Earth Fire Cave, where there is a spiritual imprint left by it. Huan Shen reported. Okay. Bai Pu exited the mental image space. In the mind image space, Ken and Huan Shen started a friendly exchange, and the chattering sound made Bai Pu very annoyed. Bai Pu chose to block the sound of the mind image space, and only received a prompt when the servant called him. In this way, it was much quieter. Go to the Red Flame Palace. Bai Pu was still very interested in the spiritual imprint left by the Red Emperor. If he could understand the spiritual imprint left by the strong man, he might be able to guide his own practice of the mystery. Flame Mountain, Cloud Mist Gorge. The Blood Spider chased the demon general Sharktooth all the way to the Cloud Mist Gorge. Sharktooth was very frustrated. When it was running away, it was constantly shot on the ass by the Blood Spider's crossbow arrows. If it hadn't activated the innate ability of Tough Skin, which greatly reduced physical damage, it would have been shot to death before it even reached the Cloud Mist Gorge. Now, although Sharktooth's back was full of crossbow arrows, like a hedgehog, it still had half of its health left. Still chasing me? I'll kill you. Sharktooth shouted angrily. If it was a one-on-one fight, it would not be afraid of the Blood Spider. The reason why it ran away was that it was afraid of Dongbo Changzi and Zook, and secondly, it was afraid that the terrifying strong man who defeated Lord Chitty, Gangson, would return. Now that it has come to Yunhui Gorge, more than 10 miles away from the battlefield, Sharktooth is no longer afraid. However, when Sharktooth chases, the Blood Spider retreats. When Sharktooth runs, the Blood Spider chases. Whether retreating or chasing, the Blood Spider always keeps a good distance from Sharktooth. The Blood Spider's crossbow arrows never stop for a second, and they keep shooting. Although some of the arrows were dodged, and although the arrows that hit could only cause a dozen to dozens of damage, the Blood Spider's face was calm, without any impatience. She recently obtained an accessory, just like Bai Pu's, Sting of the Manticore, which can add poison damage, and the output is still considerable if it continues. This seemingly boring monster spawning, Blood Spider has experienced it countless times. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439. The Master's strength far exceeds the Red Emperor. Sharktooth also has long-range attack means. The medium-range ki energy released by the Secret of Tooth is much more powerful than the crossbow arrows of Blood Spider, but it cannot be cast infinitely. Whenever Sharktooth uses the Secret of Tooth to attack from a medium distance, Blood Spider will never be greedy for output and will evade it the first time. When Sharktooth was willing to take several arrows in a row and activated the sprint skill to fight with Blood Spider hid in the void. In this way, the demon general Sharktooth, as the enhanced leader, was shot to death by the crossbow arrows. I really have become stronger. Blood Spider happily picked up the treasure chest of demon general Sharktooth, and then thought of the scene of Bai Pu chasing Chitty. Her little face fell again. Well, I'm not strong enough. Just when Blood Spider killed Sharktooth, Dongbo Changzi and Zook also killed the two demon generals in the opposite position. Soon, a group of warriors guarding the camp gathered again. What should we do now? Is there a way to contact Gangsun? He is chasing after Chitty. Should we go to help? Dongbo Changzi looked worried. I don't know how Gangsun is doing now. Is his life in danger? No need. Gangsun said he can handle it alone and will come back after killing Chitty. Zuzu waved her hand. She and Bai Pu were teammates of the Three Arrows Oath. If Bai Pu was in danger, she would know it. And Zuzu also knew Bai Pu's thoughts. He definitely didn't want these natives to participate in the siege and killing of Chitty and pollute Chitty's treasure chest. Even if Bai Pu was in danger, as the master of Giant Fern Mountain, he could get away at any time. I want to send Lingayan back to rest. She was attacked by the 4 demon generals. Now both her physical and mental state are very poor. Zook sighed and looked back at the battlefield. Although the results of this rescue operation were good, many humans from the Guardian camp died, most of whom were warriors of the Suzaku Oath. The vitality of the Nanzhu Fengsen clan was seriously injured, and they had to rest well. Well then. Let's go back to the demon-subduing city. Dongbo Changzi was actually very tired. He had traveled a long distance and crossed the Great Wilderness River to get here. As a result, he had fought a big battle in the Flame Mountain before he even reached the demon-subduing city. He needed to rest urgently. Flame Mountain, Red Flame Palace. There was a leader-level demon originally guarding the Red Flame Palace, but he was hit hard by the illusion and then quickly killed. The demons under the demon leader didn't know what was going on, and they didn't dare to attack the demon general, so they fled in all directions. At this time, there was no demon in the huge Red Flame Palace except for the illusion. Even the corpse of the demon leader was swallowed by the vigilance of the demon Spider Queen, and some durability was restored. The Red Emperor didn't leave any corpse, probably because it hadn't obtained the flesh shell yet. Master, these are the treasures left by the Red Emperor. Please take a look. The illusion's voice was crisp, like a girl next door. Bai Pu flipped through it and found that they were all treasures that he couldn't take away or use. Unfortunately, after vigilance of the demon Spider Queen evolved into dark gold equipment, it had a very picky appetite and had no desire to eat these treasures, just like a pet cat in a rich lady's home. There are also some treasures belonging to humans here, such as weapons and equipment of ghost warriors, cultural relics and antiques of merchants, etc., which are all treasures presented to the Red Emperor by the Flame Mountain demons after killing and looting. The Red Emperor then selected a small number of fine products for collection. Bai Pu put these things away and planned to return to the demon city to sell them to the quartermaster. Okay, you put away the other demon treasures. Bai Pu waved his hand. Take me to the place where the Red Emperor practiced. The underground fire cave where the Red Emperor practiced is similar to the underground palace environment of the Giant Fern volcano, both of which have boiling magma areas. On the stone walls of the underground fire cave, there are mysterious marks, which are the spiritual imprints left by the Red Emperor. When the Red Emperor has an insight, he will leave a spiritual imprint on the stone wall, and then slowly observe and experience it. After all, after cultivating to the level of the Red Emperor, there are almost no demons that can communicate with it about cultivation experience, so it can only work behind closed doors. Bai Pu's fingers touched a mysterious mark, closed his eyes, and began to comprehend. Not long after, Bai Pu opened his eyes. This spiritual imprint has a very weak impact on me. Bai Pu frowned. It can only play the role of broadening my horizons. It can't guide me in cultivation at all. Huan Shen on the side was not surprised at all, and said, the master's strength is far superior to the Red Emperor, so of course he doesn't look down on the cultivation experience it left behind. Not so much. Bai Pu certainly wouldn't take the flattery of the servant seriously. He knew that the Red Emperor was about the same as himself in terms of strength. But after the demon power burst, he surpassed himself in all aspects. Bai Pu was able to kill the Red Emperor because of his strong body and many damage reduction skills. Invisibly restrained the Red Emperor. The suit upgraded by the Lava Dragonstone, with a high amount of fire resistance, restrained the Red Emperor's red flame demon fire. The damage reduction of adaptive evolution and the defensive dark gold shield restrained the explosion of Chitty's demonic power. The damage reduction of the Immortal King suit restrained Chitty's final counterattack, the ultimate skill, 7 Evils Bomb Fist, final form. But what Tuan Shen said also made sense. Chitty did not have obvious strength suppression on Bai Pu. Its cultivation experience naturally could not form the guidance of the Aboriginals, let alone produce a high-level cultivation task. From this point of view, I am afraid that people like Dongbo Changzi and Zook will be less helpful to Bai Pu. The strength of these two oath leaders is one level weaker than that of Bai Pu and Chitty. Anyway, let's go back to the Demon City first. Bai Pu did not open the treasure chest of Chitty for the time being. He took Huan Shen and left the Red Flame Hall. Demon City. Master Gangxin is back. Now Gangxin's reputation has been initially spread among the Aboriginal warriors of the Demon City. Not everyone can beat Chitty to flee in panic. When the indigenous warriors met the Red Emperor in the Flame Mountain, few of them could escape. After Bai Pu confirmed the information that the Red Emperor was dead, the entire Burning Heart Skull was boiling instantly. Great, the Red Emperor will not come back for at least 300 years. Zook said. What do you mean, will the Red Emperor come back? Bai Pu asked curiously. This involves the origin of the demons. Dongbo Changzi explained, the ancestor of the demons is called Big Dark Sky. According to legend, the Big Dark Sky is the gathering of the evil thoughts in the hearts of all humans. After the ancestors of the 4 great oaths in ancient times killed the Big Dark Sky, his underground remains split into countless demons. After the demon dies, its spirit returns to the ground and absorbs the evil thoughts in the hearts of humans to be reborn. The more powerful the demon, the longer it will take to be reborn. A demon king like the Red Emperor will take at least 300 years to be reborn. Isn't this equivalent to infinite monster spawning? The blood spider's eyes sparkled. Chapter 440. They are dueling. In the backyard of the dojo, in the bamboo forest. Dongbo Changzi's figure danced, as light and agile as catkins in the wind. Bai Pu's sword moves were open and closed, like a violent wind. Boom. With a blast, the wooden sword hit the ground, and the Eye of the Storm was formed. Secret effect, Eye of the Storm. This is a secret effect separated from the secret skill, the Blade of the Falling Wind. Just like the Gang Step, it has no cooldown time. As long as the fighting energy is sufficient, it can be cast without limit. However, the Eye of the Storm sword skill cannot be cast directly, and several sword moves need to be performed in advance to accumulate momentum. The principle is to swing the sword to track the wind, so that the winds from different directions gather together to form the Eye of the Storm with strong suction. This is one of the results accumulated by Bai Pu's practice in the Giant Fern Mountain for several months. Especially for the secret of dancing wind. Dongbo Changzi's figure was sucked over, and the next second the wooden sword slashed out horizontally, as if a mountain collapsed, shaking the world and with amazing power. Switching from the Gangfang secret to the Collapse Mountain secret. Dongbo Changzi had no choice but to swing his sword to cut out gentle winds, trying to neutralize the violent power of the Collapse Mountain secret. Boom. The wooden sword and Dongbo Changzi's wooden sword broke at the same time. Dongbo Changzi's figure flew backwards and landed on a rockery. The wind was like an air cushion, supporting Dongbo Changzi's figure and reducing the damage. No more fighting, no more fighting. Dongbo Changzi turned over and jumped up. He knew that Bai Pu did not use all his strength, otherwise it would be difficult for him to use the dancing wind secret to relieve the force. I really don't know how you practiced and improved so quickly. Dongbo Changzi shook his head and sighed. Even if I fight hard and release the peacock feather, I will definitely not be your opponent. Dongbo Changzi has witnessed a battle between Bai Pu and Chitty, and witnessed with his own eyes how Bai Pu remained motionless under the violent attack of Chitty. Releasing the peacock feather will greatly increase Dongbo Changzi's attack ability in a short period of time, but Bai Pu is best at defense and damage reduction. Just there the burst of peacock feather. The release of peacock feather is not unlimited, and is also limited by the demonic power. I can achieve what I have today, thanks to the guidance of you and Lord Bai Mingjihu. Bai Pu is not a person who forgets his roots. He asked, have you found your family heirloom demonic weapon? White Dragon Fang? Not yet. Dongbo Changzi shook his head, I have been looking for it for more than half a year. The scabbard of White Dragon Fang guided me that it should be in the East Wasteland Forest. But I have been looking for it in the East Wasteland Forest for a long time, and I haven't found it. Bai Pu was silent. The East Wasteland Forest is the territory of the Dongbo family. The manpower and material resources that Dongbo Changzi can mobilize are beyond imagination. Even if it has not been found, Bai Pu can hardly help. Could it be that the scabbard of White Dragon Fang pointed to the wrong place? Bai Pu asked. I think I may have misunderstood. Dongbo Changzi shook his head and said, the scabbard is within the scope of the East Wilderness Forest, but it may not be on the surface, it may be in the underground world. Underground. Bai Pu was surprised, because the underground world of the Heart Demon continent is actually the world where the Heart Demon, Black Sky descends, that is, the high-level spiritual world area. Gang Xin, I am going to the underground world to find the White Dragon Fang. Dongbo Changzi said, the weapon of the ancestors cannot be sealed forever. Hey, isn't the White Dragon Fang the weapon of the previous generation of the head of the family? How did it become the weapon of the ancestors? Bai Pu asked curiously. It was passed down by the ancestors and was lost in the hands of the previous generation of the head of the family, that is, my father. Dongbo Changzi sighed. My father was hit hard by this and was in a semi-retired state. After I got the White Dragon Fang scabbard, his illness was half cured. If the White Dragon Fang can be found, he will surely be able to cheer up again. It turned out to be the sword of the ancestor of the Azure Dragon Oath. I should have asked you for more benefits if I had known. Bai Pu said, touching his chin. Isn't it enough to extort a meal from me? Dongbo Changzi smiled and patted Bai Pu's shoulder. At worst, I'll treat you to another meal. The ancestor of the Dongbo family was a fierce man who worked together with the other three Oath families to defeat the demon ancestor, Great Dark Sky. If Dongbo Changzi can get this weapon back, I think his strength will be further improved, and it may not be impossible to surpass Bei Ming Jihu. The improvement of the strength of the natives can only be compared horizontally, because the existence of the world beacon will make the strength of the natives change greatly with a change of the world's strength. Dongbo Changzi was a level 4 enhanced leader in the low-level world of Heart Demon, Oath. In the world of Heart Demon, Great Wilderness River, he is a level 6 enhanced leader. Of course, he is stronger than the ordinary level 6 enhanced leader. Why didn't Dongbo Changzi break through the shackles of the world and enter level 7? Bai Pu has also thought about the answer. It should be that the increase in strength caused by the inheritance secrets has not reached the level of breaking through the shackles of the intermediate spirit world. If the inheritance secrets can increase combat power by 20 points. The upper limit of combat power in the low-level spirit world is 10, so it is natural for a warrior who has inherited the secret to break through the shackles. But in the intermediate spirit world, the upper limit of combat power may be 100 points, and the 20 points of inherited secrets may not necessarily help a warrior break through the shackles. The boundary between the intermediate and high-level spirit worlds is not so easy to cross. Bai Pu and Dongbo Changzi walked side by side out of the courtyard. The crowd gathered in front of them, and their footsteps were hurried. Hurry up, there's something exciting to watch. Lady Flameblade is fighting the demon general. This is rare to see. One by one, the disciples of the Burning Heart School ran out of the dojo and joined the crowd watching the excitement. What happened? Dongbo Changzi stopped a disciple of the Burning Heart School. Master Dongbo. It's Master Flameblade Princess and the demon named Huan Shen. The disciple of the Burning Heart School looked up and saw Bai Pu, and his neck shrank immediately. It's the demon servant of Master Gang Xin, the demon master. They are dueling. Oh. Bai Pu and Dongbo Changzi looked at each other, and both showed an interested expression. Go and see. Let's go. Along the way, Bai Pu also figured out the whole story. Flameblade Princess was abducted by the demon and almost became the vessel of the Red Emperor. She also caused many casualties to the warriors of the Suzaku Pledge. In addition to her guilt, she must have resentment. Especially a few demon generals did not follow the moral principles of martial arts. First, Huan Shen changed his appearance to deceive them, and then the three demon generals of Ring Eye, Ghost Crab and Shark Tooth surrounded them. Don't mention how aggrieved they were. Now that the three demon generals of Ring Eye, Ghost Crab and Shark Tooth are all dead, and even the Red Emperor has been beheaded, who can Flameblade Princess vent anger on? Without a doubt, it must be Huan Shen. Although Huan Shen is now the servant of the demon master Steelheart, and is considered a friendly army, it is a friendly exchange, not a fight to the death, and he has to vent his anger after all. Bai Pu retained Huan Shen's independent thinking ability. This demon general is not someone who will swallow his anger. If he doesn't like Flame Blade Lady, he will of course pick up his sword and fight. But, Flame Blade Lady may not be able to vent her anger. Chapter 441 Why don't you show your true form? Nanzhu Fink Xinliu Dojo, Duel Arena. Two beautiful girls stood in the arena. Of course, the one wearing a red dress, tall and cold, holding in a jinita, is a real beautiful girl, Flame Sword Princess. The other girl with princess-like long hair and also wearing a red dress is the Demon Phantom. In any case, it is visually quite comfortable. Flame Sword Princess looked at the Demon Phantom in front of her and said coldly, "Why don't you show your true form? Are you going to continue to lie?" I like this look better now." Phantom lightly tapped the lady fan in his hand, covered his lips and smiled. After all, demons are demons. Transforming into human bodies will only make you a laughingstock. When we fight later, you will have to transform back to your original form. Flame Sword Princess pulled out her famous sword Hot Breath inch by inch. The blade is red with sword patterns on it, and the edge of the blade is shining with the cold light. As she spoke, Flame Blade Lady had already lowered her body, turned into a streak of white light and rushed up. The heat of the famous sword in her hand drew a streak of red light from bottom to top. Nanzhu Fengxin style, against the wind slash. This is not a skill, but a sword technique of Nanzhu Fengxin style. This is the characteristic of the inheritance of the secrets. After practicing related sword techniques since childhood, you can practice the inheritance of this school after mastering the techniques. Ling. The folding fan in Huan Shen's hand accurately hit the wide side of Flame Blade Lady's blade, sweeping it away. Flame Blade Lady changed her moves, and the sword light turned into a red shadow to attack continuously. But every attack was blocked by Huan Shen, or dodged cleanly. After a round of collision, Flame Blade Lady retreated 3 steps, holding the sword horizontally to protect her heart, but the pupils reflected on the sword edge showed surprise. Why didn't you show your true form?" Huan Shen smiled slightly. Bai Pu shook his head helplessly. Magic Shadow Transformation, Level 7 Special Effect, Dark Simulation, Passive. Huan Mirage can transform into others to fight, and imitate some of the target skills. Today, Huan Mirage will not expose the true form of the demon in battle. Because after becoming Bai Pu's servant, Huan Mirage automatically enjoyed the bonus of Limit Breaker. Now Huan Mirage's main combat expertise is as high as level 8, and the skill level has also been upgraded to level 7, and it has obtained the key level 7 skill special effect. If it were only this, Bai Pu would not dare to say that Huan Mirage would definitely win. But Huan Mirage swept all the treasures of the Red Flame Palace in the Flame Mountain, and the Red Emperor's true blood that strengthened the essence of the demon was swallowed up by her in one gulp. As a demon with only the leader as a real template, it is difficult to directly digest the Red Emperor's true blood, but Huan Mirage is different. She has the pure blood given by Bai Pu, and the evolutionary instinct in it is extremely thirsty for the Red Emperor's true blood, a tonic that perfectly matches the demon, and quickly devoured the Red Emperor's true blood. Just like when the spider devil egg devoured the true blood of the Black Emperor, the evolution of pure blood made a great contribution. After digesting the true blood of the Red Emperor, Huan Shen's template was officially promoted to become an enhanced leader. While the attributes were enhanced in all aspects, her combat expertise was suddenly upgraded to level 8, and she comprehended the secret that matched her talent, the secret of illusion. She also possessed a secret skill of up to level 7. At this time, Huan Shen's strength was only stronger than the 3 demon generals such as Huan Ian, and she could already compete with Fen Tianzuk. As for the strength of Yan Daoji, she was a leader template herself. Although she was much stronger than ordinary leaders because she was good at secrets, she was not an enhanced leader after all, and was much inferior to the old generation of strong men. The previous round of tests was enough to show the normal strength of the two. The subsequent battles in which both sides fought with all their strength did not surprise Bai Pu. Flame Blade Princess used the heart-burning style moves continuously, but found that she could not do anything to Huan Mirage. In anger, she used the heart-burning style secret, Flame Flow. A stream of flame in the form of water swept along the ground, like a spirit snake, directly pointing at Huan Mirage. Huan Mirage's illusion secret cannot increase damage, and a head-on fight is definitely disadvantageous. So Huan Mirage did not continue to fight head-on, but stretched out her hands and used her only secret skill. Mirage. The light refracted, The mirage was blurred, and everything around changed in the eyes of Flameblade Princess. The arena disappeared, and in front of her was a huge valley, a geothermal crack with hot steam, and a towering demon's nest, the Red Flame Palace. Huan Mirage's figure disappeared, and the heart-burning style secret, Flame Flow, also lost its target. This is all an illusion. As long as I draw my sword, everything will disappear. Flameblade Princess wiped the sword with her left hand, blood oozed out, and the heat of the famous sword was suddenly released, turning into a half-shafted fire dragon shaking its head and tail. The Flameblade Princess swung her sword and slashed horizontally. The secret of the burning heart style, melting iron and breaking gold. In the fiery breath of the fire dragon phantom, the sharp sword energy that was enough to cut gold and jade swung across the sky, absorbing the power of the fiery breath and turning into an amazing flame sword energy that swept across. The valley collapsed, the rocks shattered, and even the Red Flame Palace had a huge crack. The effect was amazing. But the illusion did not dissipate, it still exists. The illusion has materialized. The Flameblade Princess was shocked, and couldn't help but have an absurd thought in her mind. Is this really the Red Flame Palace, and my rescue was all a dream? My real body is still in the Flame Mountain? Although this thought was only a trace, the power of a mirage took effect. In the Red Flame Palace, the phantom of the Flame Demon rose up from the sky, riding on a red chariot driven by 4 demons, and a rumbling sound descended from the 9 heavens. Come, my flesh shall. The Red Emperor, who exuded supreme majesty, appeared. Flameblade Princess screamed in her heart, no, this is not true, the Red Emperor has been killed. But another voice sounded in her heart, do you really believe that the Red Emperor was killed by a young human warrior? You are not saved at all. The so-called young warrior is just your hysteria, a fantasy. Flameblade Princess gritted her teeth and swung a knife at the Red Emperor. But the tip of her knife was easily pinched by the Red Emperor. A rumbling voice laughed, is this a pre-dinner entertainment? The pressure was so heavy that the famous sword's hot breath was powerless to withdraw. Flameblade Princess trembled all over. Everything seemed to be a proof. It's true, this is the truth. This is not the demon city at all, but the demon cave of the Flame Mountain. Suddenly, a hand rested on Flameblade Princess's shoulder and pulled hard. With a pop, it was as if a glass was broken, and the picture of the Flame Mountain and the Red Emperor was shattered. Flameblade Princess's body lightened and was pulled out by that hand. Flameblade Princess was stunned. The familiar dojo, the familiar bamboo forest, the familiar house decorations, came into view again. For a moment, she couldn't tell whether this place was real or illusory. She turned around and looked at the owner of the hand that pulled her out of the mirage. She only saw a tall and burly figure. This figure was extremely familiar and gave her a strong sense of dependence. When she was about to be swallowed by the Red Emperor, it was this figure that appeared and fought a fierce battle with the Red Emperor, forcing him to flee in embarrassment. Chapter 442 Why is she so much stronger than me? The Flameblade Princess suddenly discovered that the figure in the golden armor had one hand pinching someone's neck. It was Huan Shen. Huan Shen, who had just been so arrogant and used the mirage to trick her, was mercilessly pinched by the big hand of the golden armored figure on her slender white neck. She could only shrink her head like a quail and follow him obediently. This is the truth. I am indeed saved. The Flameblade Princess let out a long sigh, and then she felt resentful and lost. She was puzzled. In terms of combat power, Huan Shen was originally equal to me. Why is she so much stronger than me in today's battle? Is it because she joined the command of the Magic Master Steelheart that her strength has improved by leaps and bounds? Flameblade Princess looked at the back of the man in golden armor with confused eyes. The other party was carrying Huan Shen and going to find his father. Hey, his father is here too? Flameblade Princess cheeks were burning. Lord Zook, I'm sorry, my subordinate is ignorant of the ways of the world, and I didn't know how to handle the situation lightly, and I even deliberately exposed people's scars. Bai Pu's big hand pinched Huan Shen's neck. Why don't you apologize to Lord Zook quickly? Huan Shen apologized weakly, looking pitiful. Haha, it's okay. Zook was quite straightforward, waving his hand and said, fighting against demons who are good at illusions is also an indispensable practical training. It's a good thing to expose this scar early, otherwise you will definitely suffer a great loss if you encounter similar demons in the future. Zook didn't care at all about this. Bai Pu didn't care either. With his and Zook's strength and status, they would naturally not get upset because of a fight between juniors.
The reason why Huan Shen was asked to apologize was, on the one hand, to save face, and on the other hand, for practical benefits. Master Zook, when destroying the Red Emperor's lair, Huan Shen found some human relics. Huan Shen, take them out. Huan Shen raised his hand, and a bunch of weapons, equipment, and antiques fell to the ground. All of a sudden, the surrounding Fengxian disciples all widened their eyes. So many famous swords. An excellent carrier for demon weapons. Xiao Jian Heo's armor. Exclamations came one after another. Zook's forward veins throbbed, and he glared at his disciples. What are you all doing here? Why don't you invite the elder of the Zhu Kaiong family over? When Bai Pu gained merit, he got a hint about Zhu Kaiong, asking him to go to Zhu Kaiong to exchange merit. So Zhu Kaiong should be the quartermaster of the Nanzhou Fengxian school in the demon-subduing city. Not long after, the elder of the Zhu Kaiong family arrived. Seeing a pile of famous swords and antiques on the ground, the elder of the Zhu Kaiong family couldn't help but gasp. However, the elder of the Zhu Kaiong family is worthy of being the best businessman in the Zhu family. Although there is thunder in his chest, his face is like a calm lake. After inviting Bai Pu and others to a special reception room, the elder of the Zhu Kaiong family didn't even raise his eyelids, picked up a scroll, slowly unfolded it and said, "Well, this painting looks a bit recent. It should be a painting by later generations imitating Mr. Kano, but it is more realistic. It is temporarily set at 100 coins. Zhu coughed and said, "Old Kaiong, these items all belong to the Honorable Demon Master, Lord Gangxin. Lord Gangxin killed the Red Emperor and made unparalleled contributions to the protection camp. You must open your eyes and take a good look." The elder of the Zhu Kaiong family exclaimed, and quickly took out his glasses from his sleeve, wiped them on his sleeve, put them on and took a closer look. Well, it looks like a modern painting, but judging from the age of the wood of the scroll, it can be determined that this is Mr. Kano's original work 100 Demons Night Parade. It is worth a fortune. Bai Pu was silent. No matter where you go, strength is the best identity card. If it were an unknown awakener, even if he looted the human relics treasured by the Red Emperor, he would be severely deducted by these treacherous elders of the indigenous people. Of course, the awakeners can bargain and compete with the indigenous people, just like Bai Pu faced the Beaming family's quartermaster, the Beaming Gangma elder, and finally reduced some losses and basically sold the things at a fair price. Now that he has the merit of killing the Red Emperor and surpassing Zook's strength, Bai Pu does not need to bargain, and the Zhu family does not dare to lower the price. Instead, they will purchase these things at a premium. Of course, the premium is also limited, and giving an extra 20% to 30% is the limit. At Bai Pu's level, this 20% to 30% premium is just a small profit to add icing on the cake, and it is not a significant benefit. With Zhu Kaiong's appraisal, the value of these items was finally finalized. Patriarch Zhu Kaiong used 10 gold bars, large, and 20 gold bars, small, to exchange for the relics of powerful humans and antiques in Bai Pu's hands. Large gold bars are valuables commonly used in many spiritual planes. One large gold bar can be exchanged for 10,000 spiritual energy points. Bai Pu exchanged for a small gold bar, which was 3,000 spiritual energy points. In other words, the relics of human warriors and merchants in the collection of the Red Emperor were exchanged for spiritual gold worth 160,000 spiritual energy points for Bai Pu. Bai Pu felt that it was not a loss. Patriarch Zhu Kaiong felt that it was not a loss even more. He said with a smile, "Lord Steelheart, if you have any spoils of war after killing monsters, you are welcome to come to me at any time." Bai Pu hummed, and then silently recited to start the merit exchange. In an instant, the surroundings were still, and Bai Pu was also in a state of stagnation and unable to move. It was like pressing the pause button in the game. Time was limited. Bai Pu opened the merit exchange list and began to browse quickly. Because you killed the Red Emperor, your reputation in the Ash Sea has solidified into worship. This was the spiritual will prompt that Bai Pu received when he killed the Red Emperor. Bai Pu felt it was quite reasonable. In some old stand-alone games in the 80s era, the protagonist had obviously completed the main task of saving the world, but ended up being chased and hacked by the whole village for killing a chicken in a human village, which was too inconsistent. Bai Pu's merit points at this time were 24,000 points. To be honest, this merit point is definitely not high compared to the great merit of killing the Red Emperor, especially the 24,000 merits, which also counted the merit reward for Bai Pu to complete the S-level main task. But the amount of merit depends on the price, that is, the proportion of merit consumed in exchanging items. Fortunately, the price of goods in the world of the inner demon is not high. In the list of items that can be exchanged with a revered reputation, there is a full set of standard equipment of the gold quality heroic equipment, Nansu Swordsman series. One piece is 1,000 merits. Bai Pu certainly didn't like these equipment. He exchanged for some special products of the Heart Demon world. Penglai Jade Branch, rare, S+ item, after use, increase the upper limit of health by 360 points. Requires 1,500 merits. This treasure can only be used once, and the effect cannot be stacked with other similar treasures. Suzaku Flame Jade, rare, S+ item, after use, increase fire resistance by 40 points. Requires 1,500 merits. This treasure can only be used once, and the effect cannot be stacked with other similar treasures. Right square bracket. Chapter 443. Come here, the meeting is starting. Bai Pu noticed that these two treasures also have similar items in the world of Heart Demon, Oath. Especially the Penglai Jade Branch, even the name has not changed. However, the Penglai Jade Branch in the Heart Demon, Oath world does not have the word rare after the name, and the effect is only to increase the upper limit of health by 120 points. However, after adding the word rare to the Penglai Jade Branch in the Heart Demon, Great Wilderness River world, it can actually increase the upper limit of health by 360 points. It has doubled. Bai Pu couldn't help but think of the base material of the equipment. The intermediate spirit world is stronger than the low-level spirit world, the base material of the equipment is better, and even the effect of the treasure is more powerful. If it is a high-level spirit world, the effect of the treasure is probably even stronger. Continuing to flip down, Bai Pu saw another interesting thing. Spirit-seeking pearl, rare, S+ item, after using it, you will get a clue to a spiritual world treasure, and you can directly obtain its ownership after finding the treasure. Requires 1,500 merits, limited to the intermediate spirit world, and can only be used once per exploration. Warning: the higher the value of the spiritual world treasures displayed by the soul-seeking pearl, the more difficult it is to obtain. Unfortunately, it can only be used in the intermediate spiritual world. Now the attraction of the intermediate spiritual world to me has become less and less. Bai Pu turned over. On the next page, Bai Pu found what he had been looking for. Mixed gold dice, B+ grade silver prop, used when drawing loot cards. If you are not satisfied with the drawing result, you can draw again before obtaining the loot. The redrawn loot card will have a secret mark on the back of the high-valued card. Warning: the use of this prop is limited to treasure chests below the intermediate lord level and cannot be reused. This mixed gold dice requires worship reputation to exchange, and it costs a full 3,000 merit points. For ordinary awakeners, 3,000 merit points need to be accumulated in several consecutive worlds. But Bai Pu did not blink an eye in exchange for a mixed gold dice. It's worthy of being a product of the adored reputation. This gold mixed dice item, in the real world, it would be easy to sell for hundreds of thousands of psychic points. The function of the gold mixed dice is similar to the B-level silver item, high energy scanner, that Bai Pu had obtained before. However, the high energy scanner can only scan the treasure chests below the lord, excluding the lord, and for the team that is capable of killing the lord, it is not as valuable as the gold mixed dice. Of course, the gold mixed dice is not a complete victory, because it cannot redraw the treasure chest of the high-level lord. Bai Pu flipped through it again, and the other exchange items were somewhat ordinary, such as food, such as fried rice cakes, charcoal grilled fish, steak, rare, etc., all of which restore health or professional energy, and the effect is a little higher than that of the inner demon, the world of the oath. But the problem is that Bai Pu now has the rank of lieutenant and can buy honor potions, lieutenant, which have a much higher recovery efficiency than these foods. Bai Pu finally decided to buy 3 pairs of Penglai Jade Branch and Suzaku Flame Jade for 9,000 merits, 4 mixed gold dice for 12,000 merits, 1 Seeking Spirit Pearl for 1,500 merits, and finally some rare quality food and steak. Rare quality steak can restore 200 points of professional energy in 10 seconds, which is 4 times more effective than the ordinary quality steak in the world of Heart Demon, Oath. The effects of other food are also similar. Why is mixed gold dice bought the most? Bai Pu still took a fancy to its trading value, and it is not like Penglai Jade Branch and other items that limit the number of uses. After buying it, Bai Pu immediately returned to his quiet room. First, open the treasure chest of the Red Emperor. The reason why he did not open the treasure chest of the Red Emperor at the first time was because Bai Pu wanted to see if there were any props in the merit exchange that could assist in extracting items from the Lord's treasure chest. After all, in the world of Heart Demon, Oath, a similar prop called Lucky Dice appeared. Bai Pu guessed that there should be higher level cards in the world of Heart Demon, Great Wild River, and the result was as he expected. After the Red Emperor's dark gold treasure chest was opened, a red whirlwind drove countless cards into the air, and finally turned into 72 cards, neatly arranged in front of Bai Pu. You have obtained 68,640 spiritual points. You have obtained 2 draw opportunities. You can exclude 30 undervalued cards. Do you want to exclude them? Bai Pu chose to exclude them. Of course, with a cheating prop, mixed gold dice, it doesn't really matter whether to exclude or not. There are still 42 dark gold cards left in front of Bai Pu. Bai Pu casually clicked on 2 of them. The dark gold card turned over and turned into a book and a red stone pattern. 7 Evils Bomb Fist Skill Book. Teach you to learn the secret skill, 7 Evils Bomb Fist. Prerequisite. The shock secret has reached the advanced level. Demon Bloodstone. Special material. Please go to the advanced spirit world and find professionals to identify it. Bai Pu glanced at the patterns and descriptions of the 2 items, and before the patterns became real objects, he used a mixed gold dice. On the top of the dark gold treasure chest, a dice mixed with dark gold light spun around. As if it was in reverse gear, the patterns of the 2 loot cards that had been opened were flipped back abruptly, and then in the whirlwind, the 42 loot cards were reshuffled. When they finally appeared in front of Bai Pu, 5 cards had the secret mark of the mixed gold dice. These 5 loot cards should be the most valuable items in the Red Emperor's treasure chest. Bai Pu selected 2 of them and clicked to turn them over. Flame Godstone, special item. Please go to the advanced spirit realm and find professionals to identify it. Demon Bloodstone, special material. Please go to the advanced spirit realm and find professionals to identify it. No equipment exploded. Bai Pu narrowed his eyes and frowned slightly. At present, it is definitely the equipment that has improved him the most. These high-value items with unusual names cannot have an immediate effect on Bai Pu. Bai Pu didn't know whether his luck was good or bad. He drew the Demon Bloodstone when he first drew it. He thought it was a piece of trash, but he didn't expect it to be a rare treasure ranked in the top 5 in value. Maybe Senior Chi Li knows these 2 things. Bai Pu pondered for a while, but he didn't get discouraged. He is now a preparatory committee member of the region and an A-level special agent. His status in the real world is not low, and he can contact high-level secondary professional talent such as Chi Li. These 2 things do not necessarily have to be identified and used after entering the high-level spiritual world. Bai Pu used 1 Penglade Jade Branch, and 1 Suzaku Flame Jade, himself. After the 2 treasures entered his body, they turned into pure spiritual energy particles, strengthening Bai Pu's upper limit of life and fire resistance. These 2 treasures do not stack with other similar items. This means that when Bai Pu takes other medicines that increase his health limit in the future, they will not be added to the 360 health points of Penglai Yuzi, and only the highest value will be taken. After doing all this, Bai Pu closed his eyes slightly, and his consciousness sank into the chat group in the mental space. Everyone come here, the meeting is about to start. The update is complete. Benefactors, my mission is completed. It's the end of the month, please give me a wave of monthly tickets, it will be a pity if they expire. Lao Ya thanks you. Chapter 444, I must become an apostle of source blood. In Bai Pu's mental space, with a touch and call of Bai Pu's consciousness tentacles, black and white consciousness phantoms gradually came to life. There are not many people now. In addition to Bai Pu, there are only 3 humanoid creatures Qin, Huan Shen and Bani, and 2 dinosaurs from the giant fern mountain plain. The Diplodocus and the pterosaur both blinked their eyes, with innocent and confused faces. Bai Pu shook his head and laughed, and kicked the 2 mounts out of the group. Now there are only 4 people left in the group. Qin and Huan Shen had been here last time and knew each other. So Bani, who looked confused, became the last link for everyone to get to know each other. Qin was quite familiar with the place. You are Bani, the senior warrior of the original Sin world, right? No one is an outsider here. Let me popularize the concept of the world for you first. and help you solve the mystery of the world. Qin had done this kind of popular science once with the illusion, so this time facing Bonnie, she was even more familiar with it. After the explanation, the confusion in Bonnie's eyes gradually dissipated. She murmured, "No wonder after the master disappeared strangely, no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find the master's trace. It turned out that he went to another world. It turned out that there is not only the original Sin continent." After a pause, Bonnie asked, "Can I tell this secret to my father?" "You can't do it." Qin said, "Your father is an ordinary indigenous resident. He has not solved the mystery of the world. Even if you tell him the truth about the world, he can't receive it. He will be blocked by the power of the dark." "Then why can I receive the truth about the world you tell?" Bonnie asked. "You have to thank the great master for this." When she said the word master, Qin did not forget to wink at Bai Pu politely, giving him an electric shock. Qin was too sensible, and when no one else was around, she called Bai Pu's alias Dio, and in front of Huan Shen and Bonnie, she was very careful and respectfully called Bai Pu master. Bonnie recalled the process of Bai Pu saving her, and nodded silently, "Thank you, master." Bonnie looked at Bai Pu again. "Master, what do I need to give to help my father exchange for a drop of pure blood and let him join in?" Qin interrupted and said, "I can explain this point. Currently, there are two types of master's servants. The first type is injected with source blood, such as me. The second type is injected with pure blood, such as you and Huan Shen. After the master opened this mental space and became the source master, I have received a prompt as a source blood apostle. 2 drops of pure blood will be stored in my heart. I can help the master develop pure-blooded slaves in my world. Do you understand, Miss Bonnie?" Jean stared at Bonnie and asked. "I understand. I can let my father join me if I become a blood apostle." Bonnie nodded. "It sounds like being a slave of Bai Pu. Bonnie's idea is a bit too much. But this is the only way for her father to understand the truth of the world. In Bonnie's view, it is almost equivalent to transcending the indigenous world and achieving a transition of identity. It can be said that it is what she wants." Qin refused seriously. "No, Miss Bonnie. You must know that even if you win the source blood and become an apostle, your every move must be in line with the interests of the master. You must obtain the master's consent before you can develop slaves." "Why? Isn't it better to have more slaves? My father is a high-level enhanced warrior, and his strength is stronger than you, the source blood apostle." Bonnie said in a voice, "He can serve the master more." Qin shook her head. "The total number of slaves that the master can have in each world is limited, including the source blood apostles, and cannot exceed 5. There are so many indigenous geniuses in a plain world, and it may not be your turn." Bonnie's throat choked and she was choked and couldn't speak. Now it was Bai Pu's turn to come forward to gather people's hearts. He smiled and said, "At present, the number of personnel in our organization is small, and there are large blanks in various spiritual planes. So for a considerable period of time, I will delegate power to the source blood apostles. The source blood apostles can directly develop personnel without asking for permission." Bonnie's eyes lit up and thanked again. Her goal has been determined. She must become a blood apostle. "Master, what should I do to become a blood apostle?" Bonnie asked. Bai Pu had a plan in advance, and immediately said, "In your world, help me complete 3 tasks. First, change the fate of the world. Second, explore the deepest secrets of the world. Third, the world spreads my name." After completing these 3 steps, the potential of your world has been fully tapped. You can also graduate successfully and become an apostle like Qin. The 3 tasks that Bai Pu mentioned are actually 3 aspects of legend points. Qin is currently in the world of flesh plague, distortion, and the legendary points in these 3 aspects have been obtained, which is also in line with Bai Pu's words. "Master, I want to develop my daughter, Christina, to join." Qin said, "As the first blood apostle, my next task is to walk in various planes and help the master develop slaves. But the flesh plague, distortion world is also very important. We need to leave a trustworthy person to guard it. With Christina's potential, she is indeed qualified." Bai Pu nodded, and then said, "Qin, you don't need to ask for my permission, just do what you want." Huan Shen, who has been quietly acting as an invisible man, is not interested in developing other people. After all, he is a demon and has no relatives or friends. But Huan Shen's desire for source blood is stronger than Bonnie's. Huan Shen has experienced the power of pure blood. It is so simple to devour the true blood of the Red Emperor to help her become a strengthened leader. How powerful will you be if you get the source blood? Demons respect strength, and Huan Shen especially worships strength. From now on, you will explore your own worlds. I hope you can be granted source blood like me as soon as possible. Qin is well versed in the way of ruling subordinates, and her big promises are so awesome. Bai Pu, the boss, is quite sincere. He said, if you encounter a powerful enemy, you can summon me to come. As soon as these words came out, Huan Shen suddenly felt more confident. In her opinion, her master could kill the Scarlet Emperor, so his strength must be the ceiling of the world of the inner demon, the great wilderness river. Bonnie was not too touched. She was born in the high-level spiritual world of original sin, where strong people emerged in large numbers. The impression Bai Pu left on her last time was not that he was particularly powerful, but that he was particularly mysterious. I have a question. Master, you told me before that you will soon enter the professional plane and be promoted to a high-level awakener. At that time, will you still be able to enter the intermediate spiritual world? Qin asked. Chapter 445 Qin's Identity Change. Of course, Bai Pu would not leave such a big omission, he had already checked it. After I was promoted to a high level, I can still enter the low and middle level spirit world planes where you are through the descent of the Source Master. But my level will be limited. Bai Pu's level limit means that when he enters the low and middle level spirit worlds, his level will become the highest level allowed by the world. Under normal circumstances, the upper limit of the low-level spirit world is level 3, except for the worlds of Heart Demon, Oath, etc., and the upper limit of the middle-level spirit world is level 6. But Bai Pu's combat expertise and skill level will not be limited. I don't know if it is a hidden feature of the title of Limit Breaker. After the meeting, Bai Pu saw the blood spider who returned from the monster hunting. I plan to challenge the professional plane. This is not a discussion, but a notification to teammates after Bai Pu made a decision. Blood Spider was stunned. Are you in such a hurry? You still have room for improvement. Continue to polish the secrets? I don't think it's necessary. Senior level 6 awakeners like Fenghao and Haoshin will slow down the pace of exploring the spirit world after reaching level 6, and instead practice in the border area of the real world to polish the secrets. This process may last for a year. After Bai Pu was promoted to level 6, he only had 3 or 4 months to polish his secrets, but he already felt the existence of a bottleneck. Especially the spiritual imprint of the Red Emperor, which had a very weak impact on him. This fact proved that Bai Pu's secrets had already approached the limit that an intermediate awakener could reach. God knows how Rosen, the chosen one of the Lord of Death, comprehended the death secrets of the master level. Now my experience value is about 70% of level 6, and I still need 30% of experience. After another exploration, my experience can reach 100% of level 6. This is nothing to regret. The improvement of my strength by the intermediate spirit world has become smaller and smaller. Blood Spider nodded silently. Killing a lord like the Red Emperor did not explode dark gold equipment, but exploded 2 kinds of rare items, which is already very telling. My experience is almost there. Zuzu's experience value is even higher than Bai Pu's. She said softly, then I will also challenge the professional plane and advance to a higher level. You should first comprehend the ultimate skill. Bai Pu advised, the world of Heart Demon, Great Wilderness River should still be helpful to you. Let Huan Shen accompany you to the Red Flame Palace of Flame Mountain later. There is the spiritual imprint of the Red Emperor there to see if it can work. If it doesn't work, you can also ask Dongbo Changzi and Zook for advice. Zuzu's space-cutting ultimate skill is just 1 step away from advancing to a higher level. If there is any intermediate spiritual world that can help her complete a breakthrough, it must be the world of Heart Demon, Great Wilderness River. Zuzu nodded in agreement. Bai Pu did what he said. After helping Zuzu make arrangements, he left the world of Heart Demon. This time, Bai Pu entered the world of Heart Demon by accident. There was no clearance and he returned directly to reality. Because the time in the world of Heart Demon was very short, only a few days, Bai Pu's exploration of the spiritual world did not cause any movement in the circle of the real world. His friends and colleagues didn't know that Bai Pu had taken advantage of these few days to kill a lord in the spirit world. Bai Pu returned to the giant fern mountain in a low profile and continued to practice. I finally understood 99% of the formula of the determined heart potion. It took a long time. Bai Pu stroked the potion formula and sighed. That's because you didn't use your heart all the time. You only comprehended the formula when you were tired of practicing. Qin's voice sounded. Qin had given Christina a drop of pure blood and explained the truth of the world to Christina. Then Bai Pu also added Christina to the chat group. Qin was able to withdraw from the world of flesh plague, distortion in advance and stay in the real world for a long time. Now, Qin is equivalent to the identity of a level 6 awakener. She lost the bonus of the world beacon, but can go to other spirit planes. However, Qin needs to use the spirit world ticket to go to the spirit world, just like the awakened. Before transforming into an awakener, Qin thought about a trick. Could she enter the advanced area of Starfall Islands in advance, and then transform into an awakener? In this way, with the help of the identity of the world beacon, Qin felt that she could be promoted to level 9 without any effort. With her noble status as the Queen Mother of Sweden, who also governs the 3 Nordic countries such as Denmark and Norway, such a top-level world beacon might be able to be upgraded to the Lord template. Qin tried, but the moment she entered the Starfall Islands by boat, she got a prompt: "You are trying to actively leave the world of flesh plague, distortion. Your current identity is Apostle of the Awakener Steelheart. If you leave your native world, flesh plague, distortion, you will lose the existing world beacon, completely become a follower of the Awakener, Steelheart, and obtain the same identity as the Awakener. Obviously, the Starfall Islands and the world of flesh plague, distortion are regarded as 2 different world areas. After Qin became Bai Pu's blood apostle, her original identity as a world beacon was locked in the world area of flesh plague, distortion. Whether trying to go to the high-level area or the low-level area of this world, it could not cause her strength to change. Furthermore, she could not even go to other areas, because the identity of the Awakener cannot cross the boundaries of the world area. In the absence of tricks, Qin can only become Bai Pu's follower as a level 6 enhanced leader. The advantage is that in the future, Qin no longer needs to consume Bai Pu's professional energy to maintain her existence in the real world. And Qin can also walk through the psychic realms. As for the bad part, in the world of flesh plague, distortion, Qin cannot return freely. She must either use Bai Pu's cross-border summoning to cut in, or use the ticket of flesh plague, distortion to enter. Without Qin's presence, Christina alone may not be able to maintain the Swedish Empire. However, Bai Pu and Qin have already thought of solutions to these 2 bad things. Christina joined the chat group and asked for help in the chat group in the future. Bai Pu can enter directly with the Duke's emblem. Even if Bai Pu is not free, his territory, the Lord's Mansion of Scania, has a lot of tax items that can be converted into tickets to the spirit world for Qin to use. It's nothing more than consuming some spiritual energy points. So, there is no worry. These days, Qin has been helping Bai Pu comprehend the formula. Hearing Bai Pu's complaints, Qin curled her lips and said, "Besides, your secondary profession is only level 3. It's a miracle that you can comprehend the advanced formula." Bai Pu opened the potion formula and began to use the passive ability of the Taoist alchemist profession to try to comprehend it to 100%. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446, Conscription Order. Bai Pu sat cross-legged, with countless alchemy and Chinese alchemy knowledge interacting and colliding in his mind. Bai Pu gradually experienced and comprehended the formula of the Heart of Determination potion and the knowledge of its preparation. Your comprehension of the formula, Heart of Determination, has reached 100%. Because there are many rare raw materials in the formula, Heart of Determination, that you have never prepared, your success rate of making it has been greatly reduced. Based on your hidden profession, the characteristics of the Taoist alchemist, a combination of Chinese and Western, you can look for an alternative raw materials based on your intuition. This will cause the formula of the Heart of Determination potion to mutate. Do you want to continue? Continue. Bai Pu felt a pop in his mind, as if a glass was broken, and as if a light bulb was lit, and countless inspirations flashed by. The preparation process of the Steadfast Heart potion can also be simplified. If the most difficult medicinal ingredient, bloodstone nuts, is replaced with dimmable flowers from the heart demon world, it will also be in line with pharmacology and easier to prepare, and new changes will occur in the medicinal properties. In order to bring out the special features of the dimmable flowers, the rhizome of the blood-sucking vine can be replaced with a magic cage grass from the wilderness area. Bai Pu brainstormed. The spirit world's will prompts, you have comprehended a new formula, named. At the same time, the determined heart potion formula turned into green smoke and dissipated. This new formula I comprehended. I'm afraid that the effect is the opposite of the determined heart potion, and it is used to weaken the enemy. A flash of enlightenment flashed through Bai Pu's mind. His knowledge of pharmacology was much richer than when he first understood the evergreen paste. He could estimate the approximate efficacy of the medicine without even starting to work on it. Anyway, Bai Pu had all the materials ready, so he immediately started to boil the pot. Under Qin's surprised gaze, Bai Pu finally made a large pot of black, fishy potion. Unknown alchemical potion, throwing item, rating, B. Throwing potions produce mist that weakens the soul, reducing the armor and magic resistance of everyone who comes into contact with a mist by 30 points, and weakening their fixed damage reduction value by 30 points, lasting for 30 minutes. Cannot be used in low-level spiritual areas. You have successfully made a B-level potion, and your secondary occupation, Taoist Alchemist, has been upgraded to level 4. Please draw the secondary occupation level 4 enhancement special effects. Swish, a list dropped down. Bai Pu took a closer look and found that the enhancement special effects that appeared were very ordinary, basically practical effects such as shortening the time for making medicine and increasing the success rate of making medicine. Bai Pu chose, strong, enhance the potency of the medicine you make by 100% 10%. The lower the level of the formula is, the higher the potency enhancement ratio will be. In any case, improving the potency of the medicine is correct. This is directly related to combat effectiveness, and is more suitable for Bai Pu than shortening the preparation time and increasing the success rate of preparation. It's really a different way. Qin analyzed and studied the big pot of black potion, and was amazed. She had learned the perversion of the Taoist alchemist and asked, what do you plan to name this new formula? It can't be called the determination of heart again, right? Bai Pu said, since it is used to weaken the enemy, let's call it the fragile soul potion. The will of the spirit world approved the name. Bai Pu had just been promoted to the 4th level of the secondary profession at this time. When he was about to continue studying the other 2 advanced formulas, a beeping sound suddenly sounded and a message came from his personal watch. Voice broadcasting the message. Bai Pu said. A light curtain was projected on the personal watch, and Li Ling's image appeared. She hurriedly said, Gang Xin, there was a very strange heavy snowfall in the real world. It may be related to the war in the spirit world. Do you want to come out and take a look? It must be extraordinary to make Li Ling pale. Bai Pu left the giant fern mountain with Qin, and came directly to the Shen Set army branch in Zichen through the space channel set up before. As soon as he stepped out of the underground passage and came to the surface, Bai Pu was shocked. The snow fluttering in the sky was not as white as usual, but a shocking red. Red snow fell from the sky. The red snowflakes did not accumulate on the ground. After touching the surface, they disappeared without a trace, as if they were integrated into the ground. Does the scene remind you of anything? Li Ling came behind Bai Pu at some point. The bloody rain last time. Yes, it was a bloody rain last time. The war in the spirit world started. The will of the spirit world changed the rules of the spirit world team, tending to let the awakened ones form a group at a low cost. This time it's Hong Su. I don't know what will happen next. Li Ling had a worried look between her eyebrows. Qin, on the other hand, didn't have any special feelings, and said with a smile, no matter what happens, even if the sky falls, we still have to do what we should do. Even if we really face a catastrophe, becoming stronger now will give us more room to maneuver and more chances of survival. That's right. Bai Pu praised. Qin is worthy of being the Queen Mother of Sweden. She has the bearing of a superior and a broad mind, which complements her broad mind. Suddenly, Bai Pu received a reminder from the will of the spirit world. Recruitment order. The world of advanced awakeners is in urgent need of soldiers. Now recruiting a group of level 6 hero professions, stepping into the professional plane in advance and being promoted to advanced awakeners. You can choose whether to participate. Warning, if you choose no, you will get a permanent negative effect, deserter. Awakeners with a negative effect of deserter will be rejected by the spirit world and will never be able to enter any spirit plane for the rest of their lives. Bai Pu's heart moved, and he immediately asked, if I choose to participate, how long will it take to prepare? Taking into account the particularity of the professional plane, if the recruits agree to participate, they will receive the following 2 preferential treatments. First, the recruits have 24 hours to prepare. Second, the recruits will receive advanced guidance in the professional plane. Advanced guidance? What aspect do you mean? Bai Pu has collected a lot of information about the professional plane. Because of his position as a preparatory standing committee member of the Jiangnan region, he has a high level of authority, and there is no limit to the information about the professional plane for him. The so-called professional plane is actually a high-level spiritual world that is connected to the professional energy of the awakened. To enter the professional plane, the trial taker needs to systematically learn the method of cultivating professional energy. This kind of professional energy method is obviously not something that can be obtained casually, and requires a lot of effort, or even a life and death struggle. Bai Pu's professional energy is called Blood River Dao Qi, and the professional plane he can match is most likely a Western magical plane world that practices various Dao Qi. The will of the spiritual world gave the answer. Advanced guidance refers to each professional energy cultivation method you have collected, and its compatibility will be displayed to you in a digitized form. Chapter 447, Burning Money. Protecting the Master. The will of the spirit world gave the answer because of Bai Pu's rank of Black Iron Lieutenant. Bai Pu knew it very well. He hoped to be promoted to captain as soon as possible, but unfortunately there were too few ways to obtain honor points. At present, there is only one normal way to obtain honor points, that is, to participate in the Spirit World War. Intermediate and low-level awakeners will occasionally encounter invasions from alien walkers, triggering scavenger missions. Killing alien walkers and destroying time and space nodes can both gain honor points. In addition, you can only kill awakeners with honor points in a defensive counterattack state, and you may draw honor value cards. Last time in the Heart Demon world, when defeating the Explosion Killing Group, Bai Pu killed many awakeners of the Explosion Killing Group in a state of legitimate defense. Unfortunately, these awakeners have not yet participated in the Spirit World War and have no honor points on them. As for the boss of the Explosion Killing Group, Bomb, Bai Pu didn't know whether he had killed him, because Bai Pu definitely cut off his head. As long as Bomb was a normal humanoid creature, he should have died anyway. However, not only did Bai Pu not see the bloody treasure chest, but even his own blood value did not increase. You should know that it was Bai Pu who took the initiative to attack. If he killed the Bomb, Bai Pu would definitely increase his blood value by 1 point. I accept the call. After Bai Pu chose to accept, a countdown quickly appeared in front of his eyes, and the numbers jumped rapidly. A total of 24 hours. Obviously, within these 24 hours, Bai Pu must enter the professional plane. Li Ling, how many blue equipment have you purchased recently? Bai Pu asked. There are dozens of them, all of which are blue equipment drawn from the loot treasure chest. It should be enough for you. Li Ling said. In addition, I also purchased a batch of blue enhancement crystals and several B-level enhancement cards. It's a pity that no one is willing to sell the A-level enhancement cards and gold enhancement crystals you asked about. Bai Pu nodded slightly and took the enhancement items from Li Ling. A-level enhancement cards are items that explode when killing enhancement leaders, and gold enhancement crystals are auxiliary enhancement items for dark gold equipment. Awakeners who are able to obtain these 2 types of enhanced items are generally strong and have a complete team. They usually have no shortage of psychic points and pay more attention to the enhancement level of their own equipment, so they are naturally unwilling to sell. The enhancement resources that Li Ling recently acquired are enough for Bai Pu to enhance the several newly acquired equipment. Bai Pu arranged for Li Ling and Qin to use the Fulei family Duke emblem. After being teleported to the Flesh Plague, distorted world, Bai Pu did not stay for long and chose to return. In the clearance settlement interface, Bai Pu took out several pieces of equipment that needed to be enhanced. The first one was the Demon Spider Queen's Alert, Dark Gold Shield. This shield is currently +4, and the enhancement level is a bit low. The main reason is that there are too few matching golden crystals, and the B-level enhancement cards have been used up, and the A-level ones are reluctant to use. Now I have 4 more B-level enhancement cards. I will burn auxiliary blue equipment and force the level up. Although the auxiliary blue equipment used on dark gold equipment only increases the enhancement success rate by 10%, it can also increase the overall success rate to 70%. Owning the border of the giant fern plain, Bai Pu is not short of energy points at this time. Although Bai Pu hoarded most of the rare resources in the giant fern plain and sold them slowly, killing dinosaurs to sell materials, collecting shop rents, etc., have brought Bai Pu a short-term income of millions of energy points. There are also transactions for rejuvenation cream, dividends from the character cards drawn by players in the virtual spirit world, and energy point income from live broadcast rewards. Bai Pu, who is wealthy, enhances dark gold equipment without blinking an eye. +5, +6, all successful at once. A total of 110,000 energy points were spent. Next, use an A-level enhancement card to continue to push +7. Bai Pu took out an A-level enhancement card without hesitation and chose to use it. You choose to use 2 pieces of blue equipment as fuel for auxiliary enhancement. The overall success rate of this enhancement is 45%. Are you sure? Confirm. Enhancement failed. Since you used an A-level enhancement card, this enhancement failure will not cause equipment damage, and the original enhancement level will still be retained. Bai Pu took a deep breath, put in 2 more blue equipment, and enhanced again. The result was another enhancement failure. These 2 failures were equivalent to 140,000 psychic points going down the drain. However, Bai Pu's expression did not change, and he put in blue equipment again. Enhancement was successful. The Dark Gold Tower Shield, Vigilance of the Spider Queen, was enhanced to +7. Bai Pu spent 320,000 psychic points alone from +4 to +7 this time. He also used a B-level enhancement card and an A-level enhancement card, and burned 10 auxiliary blue equipment. It can be said that he spent a lot of money. Dark gold equipment is really a gold-eating beast. Fortunately, the dark gold equipment was enhanced to +7, which was also very powerful for Bai Pu's improvement. Each level of enhancement of dark gold equipment will increase the damage reduction by 4%. Currently, it is +7. When Bai Pu uses the Dark Gold Tower Shield to block the opponent's attack, the attack damage through the shield will be reduced by 28%. This refers not only to physical output, but also to spell output. Physical output itself will be blocked by the shield, blocking 90% of the damage, turning into blunt damage rebound, and then reduced by 28% by the enhancement level. Spell output cannot be blocked, but it will be reduced by 28% by the enhancement level. Of course, this is just an appetizer. The real improvement of +7 lies in the third skill attached to the Dark Gold Tower Shield, which is also the most critical skill, Demon Power Release. +7 special effect, Guard the Master. When casting Demon Power Release, you can command the equipment spirit of the equipment to protect the master. If you do so, the main body of the shield will be decomposed into 224 small armor pieces, which will be automatically embedded on the surface of your various equipment. All small armor pieces inherit the shield's blocking characteristics and damage reduction. Good skills. Bai Pu praised. With the special effect of protecting the master, Bai Pu can reduce physical damage to an astonishing extent during the release of his demonic power. If used well, he can almost be covered with shields all over his body. Bai Pu feels that the most important thing to enter the advanced spirit world is to ensure survivability. According to known information, there are almost no ordinary templates for the combat profession natives in the advanced spirit world. The worst is the elite template. That is, the lowest level soldiers are also elite. Of course, this is only strong in the template. The combat expertise of the soldiers is still relatively low, and even cannot match the level, from the elite to the upper level, the warrior level, that is, the leader template. Natives are just the leaders of a small army. The enhanced warriors are just middle-level cutters. The lords are not walking around everywhere, but at least they deserve the word common. Considering that the natives with templates above the advanced warrior have outrageous life values, Bai Pu feels that it is unlikely to kill them quickly. Protracted war and competition of survivability should be the mainstream of the battle. Therefore, Bai Pu chose the Dark Gold Tower Shield as his first enhanced equipment. Chapter 448, Departure. Occupational Plane. I still have 3 B-level reinforcement cards and 2 A-level reinforcement cards, which can give 2 more equipment +7. Bai Pu first chose Iron Wool Knee Pad. This equipment is only gold grade, but Bai Pu is interested in its additional skill, Endurance, which can save 15% of energy consumption, up to 15 points. With a goal of protracted warfare and high endurance, this equipment must also get the +7 special effect. Previously, Iron Wool Knee Pad was +4. Bai Pu used the B-level reinforcement card. With enough auxiliary blue equipment, the success rate of each reinforcement was as high as 90%, and it was easy to rush to +6. Then use the A-level reinforcement card to sprint to +7. The success rate dropped to 65%, but the A-level reinforcement card has 3 protection opportunities. Bai Pu was very lucky this time and succeeded in +7 on the first try. He simply continued to rush, +8, +9, all successful. The +9 enhanced iron wall knee pad, the psychic particle brilliance emitted by the equipment is very rich, and gradually formed a vague ring-shaped halo. First of all, the inherent damage reduction of the enhanced level, Bai Pu's leg damage is reduced by 27%. More importantly, the +7 special effect has finally been enhanced to the skill, endurance. Energy consumption is reduced by 25%. The limit is that the maximum reduction is no more than 50 points. Perfect. Bai Pu breathed a sigh of relief and was happy. You know, iron wall knee pads reduces energy consumption, but it will not reduce the attack and skill power of the Blood River Dao Ki amplification. For example, when Bai Pu uses the collapse secret art with all his strength, he will instantly output 90 points of Blood River Dao Ki, and the amplification power is as high as 120%. With a consumption reduction of +9 iron wall knee pads, the instant output of Blood River Dao Ki is only 68 points, which is equivalent to 70% of the original power, but the amplification power is still 120%. The last piece of equipment is Sprint +7, and Bai Pu chose Scorpion Tail Lion Sting. Originally, this equipment was about to be eliminated, because the natives above the Advanced Warrior template all have outrageous high blood volume, and have a fixed damage reduction ability similar to Skin of Steel, and can't kill people by bleeding 9 points per second. However, Bai Pu's recently learned formula, Fragile Soul Potion, can reduce the opponent's fixed damage reduction. In this way, Scorpion Tail Lion's Sting can have a second spring. Bai Pu used the reinforcement card to strengthen it again. However, this time when it was +5, it failed twice in a row. Bai Pu could only use another B-level reinforcement card, and finally successfully pushed it to +6. Later, he used the last A-level reinforcement card to push it to +7. It failed once and succeeded once, and finally got the +7 reinforcement effect. Toxic Burst, passive. While the Scorpion Tail Lion's toxin causes continuous damage, it will also sneak into the opponent's weak defense and accumulate. Actively activating this special effect will cause the toxin to burst immediately and cause damage, and the value is equal to the total value of the accumulated toxin damage of the equipment on the target. Instead of increasing the toxin damage per second, it adds an explosive output skill. Bai Pu shook his head slightly. He chose Scorpion Tail Lion's Sting, with the idea of strengthening the ability to fight for a long time, but the reinforcement effect was not satisfactory. At present, the Scorpion-tailed Lion Sting still has one remaining A-level enhancement card protection mechanism, but Bai Pu no longer needs to upgrade to +8, and accessories will not provide damage reduction for related body parts. Only by upgrading to the key nodes of +4, +7 and +10 can there be a big improvement. If this equipment is given to an agile warrior, the effect is quite good. Give the opponent a few slashes to bleed, slowly accumulate poison damage, and then you can kite the opponent. When the poison damage is enough, you can use a high burst to finish it off. Bai Pu breathed a sigh of relief. People can't always have everything they want. The basic goal of this enhancement has been successfully achieved, and it doesn't matter if the Scorpion-tailed Lion Sting has a slight flaw. Bai Pu also enhanced the Steam Power Bionic Boxing Gloves, obtained from the popularity lottery to +4. The special effect obtained is called Iron Fist of Justice, which enhances the active effect of the additional skill, Steam Power, of the boxing gloves. Now the fist swung by actively activating Steam Power can not only cause moderate damage and break the shield, but also knock the opponent into the air, which is considered to be an additional small control skill. This was a pleasant surprise. Bai Pu originally only wanted to reach +4 and get 12% hand damage reduction. After the strengthening was completed, Bai Pu returned directly to the original junction of Giant Fern Mountain. Bai Pu first soaked in the spiritual liquid and slowly adjusted his own state. Now his status and authority are much higher than when he just turned 2. He can also purchase rare spiritual treasures such as spiritual liquid through internal authority. Beep. Information from various channels was collected and sorted by Li Ling and transmitted to Bai Pu's personal watch. Bai Pu called Li Ling's video phone. Gang Xin, I investigated many level 6 hero professions, and none of them received a conscription order. Only those genius awakeners who have comprehended the secret and have an experience value of more than 50% of level 6 need to be recruited. When Li Ling spoke, her eyes were a little erratic and her cheeks were slightly flushed. She forced herself not to look at Bai Pu on the other end of the video. At this time, Bai Pu was soaking in the spiritual liquid, and most of his body was covered with the milky white liquid, but the part above the chest was still exposed. Broad shoulders, strong chest muscles, each one is like a marble sculpture. So, Blood Spider will also be recruited. Bai Pu nodded slightly. She should still be practicing the mysteries in the heart demon world. I wonder what the conscription order requires for the awakened ones in the spirit world. Li Ling said, today, there is an awakened one who just returned from the spirit world in the Special Service Bureau. He said that he did not receive the conscription order in the spirit world, but he received it immediately after returning. You will not receive a conscription order during the exploration of the spirit world. Bai Pu smiled and said, it seems that the will of the spirit world is quite humane. Well, I won't wait for Blood Spider, and challenge the professional plane directly. The trial of the professional plane cannot be formed in a team, because everyone's professional energy characteristics and personal physical characteristics are different. Bai Pu will also match other high-level awakened ones in the professional plane. For Bai Pu, this is a professional plane, but for other high-level awakened ones, it is just a normal exploration of the spirit world. After turning off the video call, Bai Pu stood up and stepped out of the spiritual liquid pool. Wisps of strong wind blew out from the surface of the body, and Bai Pu's wet hair and body became dry in an instant. Bai Pu put on the silk underwear lining, and lifted the hidden mode of the equipment with a thought. Suddenly, a set of equipment with shining luxury light appeared. Bai Pu quickly hid the light of the equipment, but those equipments that were strengthened to a high level still had an extraordinary luster. Awakener Steel Heart, you choose to accept the challenge of the professional plane. The professional plane does not require a ticket to the spirit world. Do you want to teleport directly? Teleport. Analyzing the energy characteristics of your profession, matching the plane world, in the flashing light, Bai Pu's figure faded and disappeared inch by inch. Chapter 449 Battle Academy. The surroundings were an illusory space, with bubbles floating slightly. Bai Pu was wrapped in one of the bubbles. He looked around and saw that there were many shadowy figures standing in other bubbles. Is this the high-level awakener I matched with when I participated in the professional plane trial? I wonder if there are people who are also taking the professional plane trial like me. Bai Pu silently restrained his breath and tried to keep a low profile. Just like the last time he went to the Flesh Plague, distorted world for the second transfer, Bai Pu went to transfer trial, but for others, it was probably just an ordinary journey to the spirit world using a ticket. Most of the awakeners around were high-level awakeners. High-level awakeners must have passed the second transfer and the professional plane trial. To be promoted to high level, no matter how badly an awakener is doing, his priority will not be lower than that of an elite. There are basically no high-level awakeners with ordinary templates. However, Bai Pu wanted to be low-key, but his high appearance and high popularity made it impossible for him to hide. Many awakeners noticed him. Bai Pu felt the gazes from all sides. Some of them were scrutinizing, some were suspicious, and some were filled with undisguised malice. Duaduo. Suddenly, in an illusory bubble in front of Bai Pu, an awakened person with a slender figure, long arms and legs, gently tapped the surface of the bubble with his fingers. Bai Pu looked over, and the slender awakened person grinned, with some ill intentions. Xianling. Bai Pu was shocked. This guy had been on the internal network of the Special Service Bureau and was a vicious S-level wanted criminal. Behind Xianling, there were several awakened people in his team standing with their chests crossed. Among them, there was an awakened person who had dealt with Bai Pu before, Zilao. Bai Pu breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he and the Superstar Alliance had some conflicts. As long as it was a big event like trial and job transfer, there would definitely be people from the Superstar Alliance interfering. But Xianling and Zilao were together. Did they join this Hixing building? Knowing that he was being targeted, Bai Pu simply did not hide it and began to examine other awakeners one by one. After searching like this, Bai Pu found another one, Haoshan. Haoshan made eye contact with Bai Pu and then quickly moved away. In the distance, A muscular man with a burly figure and a nearly naked upper body sat cross-legged with his back to the crowd, seemingly not caring about other people. However, even though this muscular man had his back to everyone, he still gave people a strong pressure through the illusory bubbles and stagnant space, like a prehistoric beast taking a rest. Good guy. Isn't this Senior Daezong? A candidate for the King of Power. Bai Pu was shocked. It was not until now that he felt that his level had unknowingly approached the top awakeners on Earth. Between the flashes of light, Bai Pu's illusory bubbles disappeared first, and the stagnant state was lifted. Among this group of awakened people who were matched, Bai Pu was the first to enter the spirit world. Welcome to the world of Damo, Battle Academy, and take the career trial. Do you want to spend 520 psychic points to obtain the common language of this plane, as well as adjustments to clothing and appearance? Bai Pu chose yes. Invisible ripples flashed, and a stream of information poured into his brain. Bai Pu temporarily understood the common language of the fighting demon world. A picture scroll slowly unfolded in front of Bai Pu. Fighting Demon, Battle Academy, time, late Third Era, region, binary star continent Eastern Plane, intensity. 5.2, background, this is a world of fighting spirit and magic. The War of the Gods in ancient times has long been buried in the dust of history, but the ancient power is still sleeping in the sacred relics, waiting to be awakened by the destined person. Binary star continent, the most peaceful and prosperous continent in the fighting demon world, has two great academies with a long history. The feeling of weightlessness disappeared, and Bai Pu stepped on solid ground. My body seems a little heavy. Is this the strength of the advanced spiritual world? Bai Pu stepped on the ground under his feet. If it were on Earth, this kick would be enough to crack the ground, but in the world of fighting demon, Battle Academy, this kick only left a shallow pit on the ground. The air was also different. When Bai Pu took a step or raised his hand, he felt that the air around him was a little sticky, like water with considerable resistance. However, Bai Pu had a physique comparable to that of a lord after all, and he quickly adapted to the new environment here. The reminder of the will of the spirit world came at the right time. Awakener Steel Heart, you will accept a professional trial in the world of fighting demon, Battle Academy. You have obtained the temporary skill of the trialer, Inspiration Ball. Using the Inspiration Ball can make you immediately comprehend a complex professional energy cultivation method, which disappears after use. In Bai Pu's mind, there was an extra sphere like a light bulb, and in the light, complex symbols could be vaguely seen flowing. Obviously, this was the Inspiration Ball. With the Inspiration Ball, the awakened can quickly master a method. However, the Inspiration Ball can only be used once, and it disappears after use. Therefore, it is best to obtain the professional energy cultivation method, identify it, and the method that suits you is the best. Since you entered the professional plane through the conscription order, you have received preferential treatment, advanced guidance. Advanced guidance, passive. When you come into contact with a cultivation method, you will obtain specific information about the rarity and compatibility of the cultivation method. After the end of this professional trial, this passive ability will automatically disappear. In Bai Pu's mind, there is another antique book, which looks like an encyclopedia. The conscription order is a good thing for me. Advanced guidance can be said to be a free advantage. Then go find the place with the most Dao key cultivation methods in this world. Gajetsun Warrior Academy. Bai Pu collected a lot of Western magical style spiritual world information in advance. The Damo world is one of them. The Damo world has 3 continents, the war-torn Eister continent, the mixed-race Yuan continent, and here the most peaceful and prosperous Twin Star continent with the world's 2 best high schools. These 2 high schools are the Gajetsun Warrior Academy located in the Eastern Plains and the Lorwich Magic Academy located in the Western Pavel Plateau. Bai Pu was dropped to the Eastern Plains by the will of the spirit world, which was actually a kind of preferential treatment, because there was the Gajetsun Warrior Academy in the Eastern Plains. As long as he could join, there would be a large number of fighting spirit cultivation methods for Bai Pu to choose from. But the question is, how to join? It's like a foreigner with no education coming to China and wanting to go to Zhejiang University. The difficulty can be imagined. Change your mindset. I can go in as a student. The Gajetsun Academy is so big, doesn't it recruit kitchen helpers? No cleaners? No librarians? Chapter 450, Silver Clover Pasture. Gajetsun Warrior Academy is located in Gajetsun City on the Eastern Plains. Bai Pu found the location of Gurjetson Warrior Academy through communication with the natives. Upon inquiry, he learned that the enrollment of Gurjetson Warrior Academy would not start for another half a year. It would definitely not be possible to enter as a student. Only people with a great background could do it. Bai Pu could only settle for the second best. According to his backup plan, he looked for a teacher in the General Affairs Office of Gurjetson Warrior Academy for a job. This Warrior Academy is not simple. On the Twin Star continent, it is a symbol of fighting spirit and martial arts. There are many Lord-level masters among the teachers. And it is difficult to find a few Lord-level masters in many small countries in the Damo world. Therefore, Gurjetson Warrior Academy has a very high status in the Twin Star continent and a large sphere of influence. It can be understood as a sect of immortal cultivation in fairy tales. Those small countries can almost be regarded as vassals of the academy. For such an academy, the General Affairs Office is naturally high-minded and extraordinary. Bai Pu took out a refined silver ingot as a stepping stone, and only then did he get a job opportunity and meet Mr. Ifli, the first deputy director of the General Affairs Office. Mr. Ifli was a middle-aged fat man, half-bald, wearing enamel glasses, and the buttons of his clothes were almost stretched out by the fat on his belly. "Your name is Diofur, right? What job are you applying for?" Ifli asked. "I am more competent in writing work. Can I apply for the position of librarian in your school?" Bai Pu asked tentatively. "No." Mr. Ifli refused without even giving a reason. "I also know some knowledge of alchemy." Bai Pu set the level of his Taoist alchemist secondary occupation to exhibition status. "No." Ifli just glanced at Bai Pu, as if to confirm the level represented by his pulled-out certification materials. After seeing that Bai Pu's secondary occupation level certificate, spiritual transformation, was only at the intermediate level, he shook his head and refused again. "Mr. Ifli, in fact, no matter what kind of job it is, I can try it. Cook, cleaner, builder. As long as the school needs it, I can do it." Bai Pu's attitude has been very humble. Mr. Ifli smiled, rubbed the black mud on his neck with his fingers, put it under his nose and smelled it, and said, "There is a vacancy for the cleaner position. However, the cleaners of Gurjetson Academy do not do ordinary work. You have to prove your ability. Please ask the questions." Bai Pu said. Ifli said, "In the misty forest west of the academy, a group of grass spirits are making trouble, destroying the school's silver clover grassland, and messing up everything. You go and clean up the grassland." Bai Pu received a reminder from the will of the spirit world. Main Quest 1, Join. Quest Objective, Obtain legal long-term resident status in Gurjetson Warrior Academy Lorich Magic Academy. Quest difficulty, B? Question mark, task deadline. 10 days task reward, none failure penalty, deduct 50,000 psychic points. A line of small words at the back, Main Quest 1 progress update, clean the silver clover meadow. Hint, the mess in the silver clover meadow is because the grass spirits are messing around. If you let these little guys get away with it, you have to pray that they won't come back after you finish cleaning. Bai Pu finally understood that the cleaners of Gurjetson Warrior Academy are indeed not something that ordinary people can do, no wonder they have to take the entrance examination. "I will clean the meadow." Bai Pu got up and left. Walking in the teaching area of Gurjetson Warrior Academy, Bai Pu saw many indigenous students with strong auras. The skill Strong Enemy Sensing attached to the Iron Horn helmet of the Immortal King was activated. Bai Pu observed it briefly and found that the students here have ridiculously high combat effectiveness. The lowest combat effectiveness is also 300. What a concept! The total attributes of a level 7 warrior are about this number. In other words, the weakest native freshman in Gurjetson Warrior Academy also has a level 7 warrior template. There are also those with combat power over 400, who seem to be senior students. It is estimated that there are warriors of level 8 or 9 or even enhanced warrior templates. There may even be lords. If the students are so powerful, how powerful should the teachers who teach martial arts be? According to the information collected from the world of fighting demons, both academies have places for outstanding graduates to continue their studies. The one in Gurjetson Warrior Academy is called God of War Peak, and the one in Lorich Magic Academy is Mystic Hall. Students who can study in these two holy places are even stronger, and may even be close to martial arts teachers. Bai Pu wanted to go to the teaching area and get a chance to audit, but he didn't have the academy badge and couldn't enter the teaching area. Under the surveillance of the security personnel of the General Affairs Office, Bai Pu could only return along the predetermined route and leave the academy. At the school gate, Bai Pu ran into a group of people. The leader was a middle-aged man in a magician's robe, with a rather elegant temperament, followed by two young men about 17 or 18 years old, about the same age as Bai Pu. The three people got off a carriage that was suspended in the air and engraved with a magic circle. They are exchange students from the Lorich School of Magic. Get out of the way quickly, don't block the road. The security guard who was watching Bai Pu leave whispered. Bai Pu made way and watched the three people enter the campus. Lorich School of Magic? The two young men behind don't look like magicians. Bai Pu said. You don't understand this. In order to cater to the trend of dual cultivation of magic and martial arts, the Lorich Magic Academy has newly opened a magic warrior department to cultivate talents who are good at both fighting spirit and magic. Did our Gadgetsun Warrior Academy also open a battle mage class? In fact, they all mean the same thing. The security guard whispered. The magic warriors of Lorich came to our Gadgetsun to exchange ideas. In fact, they just wanted us to test their fighting spirit cultivation. Later, our battle mage class will also send people to visit and exchange ideas. After all, when it comes to magic, no place can compare to Lorich Magic Academy. Bai Pu looked at the backs of the three people leaving and nodded thoughtfully. The misty forest in the west of Gadgetsun Warrior Academy. Bai Pu felt a hint of coldness when he stepped into the misty forest. The temperature here is about 10 degrees lower than that of the academy. The physical coldness is fine, but in this misty forest, there is a kind of coldness that goes straight into the bone marrow and seeps into the soul, which makes Bai Pu, an awakened person, unable to withstand it. Not long after, Bai Pu found the grassland. Bai Pu's eyes almost popped out. Is this a grassland? This area is too big. The trees here were obviously cut down, and the remaining trees were used as boundary markers between plots. There were also landmarks such as Night First Class, Night Second Class on the plots. With so many plots, Bai Pu alone would probably need 10 days or half a month to clean them up. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.